effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed I could think more clearly. Memory was so much better. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it worked so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
In a clinical study, Prevagen was shown to improve memory in subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired. Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
One of our favorite guests, and after we learned one of your favorite guests, Pastor David Lowery, will talk about the black vote being crucial to the President Trump victory. We'll talk to him Wednesday at 9:41.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Tim Jones here for AMF Electric, in business since 1965, offering a full line of industrial, commercial, residential, electrical, and system services. AMF is a merit shop. They work successfully for all owners who favor freedom of economic choice. Yes, even on other AFL trades jobs. At AMF Electric, they're unabashedly pro-American. Call them 314-647-4066. Online, amfelectric.com. That's amfelectric.com.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros, your all-in-one gutter service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. We discovered Gutter Pros a few years ago when we bought our home and inherited a gutter issue that was on the road to becoming a potentially big problem, but thanks to Gutter Pros was stopped before causing any major damage. They've also repaired the siding on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros are also the best for siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros can help your home at gutterpros.com.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. These pills work for men and women to improve their sexual performance. And now for the price of 2 or 3 pills, you can get nearly 100. There's no need to pay expensive prices for Viagra or Cialis. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Change your life for the better and have fun. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
800-631-2030. 800-631-2030. 800-631-2030. That's 800-631-2030.
Hey, it's First Alert Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton from Channel 4, and we are proud to be the official weather source for News Talk STL. Just like you've grown to expect from us at Channel 4, you can expect the same accurate, detailed, and timely weather coverage from News Talk STL. The First Alert weather team will keep you ahead of the big weather changes. And the one thing you can count on in St. Louis, the weather is constantly changing. So Channel 4 and News Talk STL are committed to keeping you up to date and safe.
Trends weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox Deportes and available at noticias.foxnews.com, the Fox Noticias YouTube page, and Fox Nation. Or listen and follow the podcast at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
A deeper dive into the major and controversial stories of the day. This is the Fox News Rundown. More coming up. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com.
On the next,
Larry Connors, USA.
Donald Trump is getting close to wrapping up his cabinet, and of course, then Senate confirmation. Who's going to stand in the way?
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
you can't get food like this in Paris. Bring the family for breakfast and brunch to Nadine's Hash House, offering home-style cooked meals the way your mother made them. Try the savory Southside Slinger, the cinnamon streusel pancakes, or Nadine's famous hash. Make sure to follow Nadine's Hash House on Facebook for weekly specials. Open today from 7 to 1:30 in Soulard on Broadway. Nadine's Hash House. You can't get food like this in Paris. Nadine'sHashHouse.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
He is Mitch Baden, president and CEO at Royal Banks of Missouri. And I'm very curious, how did you guys do in your 2023 economic forecast breakfast?
Our audience actually got it right. Who would win the election? Now, again, we didn't know who the nominees would be last year, and they actually selected the Republican Party to win the presidency. So we were right on that one.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peter's location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, are you feeling the impact of the recent changes in the timeshare industry? My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you. For more than a decade, they have successfully helped over 20,000 owners get out of their timeshare. With an A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau, customer service is their priority. For a free consultation and a guaranteed solution, 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. On this Wednesday, let's go all the way with the swamp. If President Trump is really going to drain it, a giant suction plan is needed. Half measures will not work. Therefore, here are my cabinet nominees. Secretary of Defense, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, big fellow, will not be intimidated by little Putin, may even pat him on the head. Secretary of Treasury, Oprah, many homes, lots of expensive things, got $2.5 million out of Kamala Harris for something, not sure what. Good negotiation, the woman knows money. Secretary of Transportation, let's keep Pete Buttigieg. It's a do-nothing job anyway, and Pete nailed that. Why change? Secretary of Chaos, new position, tailor-made for Kid Rock. Rock on, brother. And while we're on the subject of Taylor, Secretary of Cosmetics, another new position that Ms. Swift could easily embrace. Just the lipstick alone qualifies her. Secretary of Snacks, key position in the new White House. This is where Robert Kennedy Jr. should be. Carrot, celery, the whole thing. No Diet Coke, but that could be a problem. So those are my nominees. And finally, the big one, Secretary of Cable TV. So who controls the remote when President Trump is watching the news programs? We need Jake Paul for that. Back after this. If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, listen up. Car Shield is a low-cost monthly vehicle protection plan now available to you. This protection plan is at an all-time low price. Please call 800-925-7584 for a free quote. Drivers who activate today will also receive free roadside assistance and towing at no additional cost. That is 800-925-7584 right now. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We've got a cool down coming, some of the coldest air of the season by Thursday and Friday. We also have some windy days ahead. We'll start off near normal, though, on Wednesday. Low 43, some early morning clouds and sunshine in the afternoon, and a high of 54 but gusts out of the west at 35 miles per hour. So that wind's going to add a bite. Thursday, windy as well. Gusts perhaps up to 40 miles per hour, but an even colder day, 45 for the high temperature. Haven't had highs in the 40s this fall yet, but we'll have it Thursday with mostly sunny skies and a lot of wind. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Missouri.
This message presented by the MSH-SAA and the Missouri Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Thanks for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Think about it for just a minute. Why does Drill Baby Drill resonate with so many people? Well, it's a very, very simple economic truth about supply and demand. Drill for more oil. Therefore, you increase the supply of gasoline. When the increased supply hits the market, it becomes less expensive and it's easier for more people to access. That's just a truth. That's just the way it is. So why wouldn't Build Baby Build do the same thing for housing? I mean, we keep hearing that housing costs are putting homes out of reach for so many people. So why not just build more housing? Well, because special interest and a lot of local governments don't want that to happen. They don't want less expensive housing all around. Right around 6:05, we're going to talk to the author of a new book. He's actually a professor at George Mason University, and it's a graphic novel, which is interesting, about his book, Build Baby Build, and why we need to reshape the conversation and put a little more free market back into housing. All right, good morning, Mike Ferguson here. Should Mike Johnson keep his gig as Speaker of the House? We talked to Rick Manning from Americans for Limited Government about that on Tuesday's show. He's making the argument that yes, he should, and here's why.
Mike Johnson, man, I tell you right now, with him being Speaker right now, and then assuming he keeps the gig come January, he's going to have an incredibly slim majority, a few wildcats in the mix that like to stir things up. I don't know why anybody would want that job, to be really honest right now, but should he keep it? Among the groups, conservative groups who say, yeah, he should keep the gig as Americans for a Limited Government. And Rick Manning joins us right now. Rick, you guys have already endorsed him for another term. You're saying he should stay on as Speaker. Let's start right there. What is it that makes Mike Johnson the right guy at this point to run the Republicans and run the House of Representatives?
He's the most conservative speaker we can get. Number one, he actually believes in the things that he says in terms of policy and the desire to cut the size and scope of government. He was on the stage with Donald Trump when Donald Trump gave his acceptance speech, meaning he's going to be able to work with the president. And the difference between the last year and now is he's actually has been involved in being Speaker for a year. He now has the command of the power of the Speaker, which he didn't before. He's putting people on committees. He's able to actually exercise the real power, the very real power the Speaker of the House has. He inherited somebody else's mess, essentially, and wasn't able to put his own fingerprint on it. Now he's got the political machine of a speaker, and he's got the power of a speaker, and that's going to make him. And he's got the President of the United States, he's going to be pushing his agenda. So he's got a lot of things going for him this time that he didn't last time. He was fighting against both Joe Biden and some people in his own caucus.
Good morning, Rick. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So, one of the challenges that I think he's going to have is the fact that his majority is so slim. How do you think he's going to manage to keep the herd of cats moving in the right direction?
I think he's going to do that by following closely Donald Trump's agenda and having Donald Trump's bully pulpit being the thing that beats people into going along with the necessary compromises to get real conservative agendas done. And that's and the Trump agenda is not going to all be conservative agenda. Let's be clear. But when you're not fighting a president, you actually have the president. As a president who has an electoral majority and won more states than anybody thought he would, that guy has a lot of power going in. And for the next year, that power will be exerted on getting the House of Representatives to do the job. And Mike Johnson will be the perfect guy to kind of round him up and be able to get that job done.
Hey, let me ask you kind of turn that question around a little bit. You mentioned, Donald Trump, and the reality is he's more populist than he is conservative. And we're seeing that increasingly in recent months, years, and certainly over the campaign. So is a House Speaker who's effective at working with him, is it possible that somebody like Mike Johnson could steer that policy in a more conservative free market direction?
Yes. I think that's very probable. It's he's going to go back and he's going to say, listen, you have to do this, and this in order to get the votes in the House. And so if you go down this path, which is, let's say price controls on drugs or something, he said, listen, we just fought a whole election against price controls. I don't really care what Bobby Kennedy Jr. says about this stuff. You got elected and you fought a whole election against price controls. And so you need to stand up against price controls and not let that happen. So those are the kind of things that he's going to have the capacity, if he wants to, he'll have the capacity to go in and affect the policy of the administration, both based on actual keeping promises and directing towards conservative solutions, market-based solutions for many of the problems we have.
We're visiting with Rick Manning from Americans for Limited Government. Let's touch on the volatility of the U.S. House or any House of Representatives. I mean, obviously, the Senate is designed to be the little stodgier cooling saucer of policy, and there are some. There are some bomb throwers in the in the U.S. House on both sides, and voters like them for a lot of reasons. The people that love to stir up trouble and love to be disruptors, and a lot of voters like those right now. But if you are the Speaker of the House with a very, very slim majority, you can't afford to lose too many disruptors. How do you manage that, and what makes Mike Johnson the right guy to do that? Because as you said, him being there now is a product of, frankly, that sort of chaos that erupted. And at one point we could have had Jim Jordan as Speaker. Mike Johnson's fine. Jim Jordan would have been good. But what makes Mike Johnson, from what you can see, the guy to manage the potential chaos?
He can keep the people on the left from engaging in chaos while he tries to deal with people on the right. And quite honestly, I've traditionally been a disruptor, and I will continue to be a disruptor. This is a disrupting administration, as you can see from his cabinet posts. So the key to that is, if you're getting 85% of what you want, sometimes people have to figure out that that's a win. And so that's how you get the disruptors. Is you say, what do you need to be in this to be able to vote for it? And they say it has to be able to do this, this, and this. Well, we can get this, this, and this done. Does that solve the problem? And that's just a matter of communication. And ultimately, the thing that the disruptors don't want is Donald Trump calling them out as being the people obstructing his policies. So you've got a hammer. And the hammer isn't Mike Johnson, the hammer is Donald Trump. But Mike Johnson has the capacity to come up with conservative alternatives that should meet everybody's needs. And it's a hard job. There's going to be times when he fails. It's an extremely hard job. Easy to be Speaker when you got 50 extra votes. Hard to be Speaker when you got 3 to 4 extra votes. But I think he's the right guy because, quite honestly, if somebody from the left came in, they couldn't get the right. So if the right from the Freedom Caucus came in, they wouldn't be able to get the left. And he's more Freedom Caucus than he is moderate. And quite honestly, he's a nice guy. He's actually somebody you want to like.
it's kind of astonishing. You don't meet many of those in Washington, D.C. He's actually kind of an honest guy. So I think he's got a shot. Will he succeed? Time will tell. But I think I'm excited because I think we actually have an opportunity for the first time in my lifetime to actually limit the size and scope of government and to make real substantive change, not only from an administrative level, but in Congress. And I think Mike Johnson's a guy who understands that. And he showed that when he was head of the Republican Study Committee, where he put up bills that were really they were pretty disruptive bills and supported them. And so consequently, I know where he stands. I know where his heart is. And it's a matter of trying to give him the support to get the job done. It's going to be hard.
One of the most interesting things kind of coming in with this administration is DOGE, and I'm very interested about it. Department of Government Efficiency, the unofficial,
the non-departmental department, which is a kind of an advisory committee. We'll say. My understanding is what's likely to happen is they're going to come out with a report. They're going to say here are the things that the government can get rid of so that it can shrink and limit its size and scope. And a lot of that is going to need some legislative support. Do you think Mike Johnson is going to be able to do that in the first 2 years when we actually have the momentum?
Well, he's probably got 14 months. Okay, first of all.
Okay, yeah.
Once you get into campaign season, it's kind of over. But I think you'll be able to do some of it. It took 100 years to build the administrative state, and it's really, I hate to say this, but it's going to take more than 1 year to dismantle it. However, I think some of the things that the DOGE committee is interesting in that they're going to come up with ideas, and the ideas they come up with don't meet any political reality because that's not their job. They aren't a governmental agency. They have no power, and they have the power of what the president says. Yeah, I want to do that. What the House and Senate say, yeah, we'll do that. And so ultimately, what I'm urging Johnson to do is to get his committees. He's already had his committees looking at regulations that far exceed congressional authority. They gave that order last September. And to go forward, identifying those agencies, identifying how much they're costing the government, and using the appropriations process and regular order to identify and put those agencies on trial and get rid of the excess regulation. By putting those regulations on trial, force the people to defend it, show the people those regulations are hurting, and get rid of them through the regular legislative process. And then you can lay it up in a Budget Reconciliation Act, which doesn't request 50 votes in the Senate. And if you've shown the cost of it, you can eliminate it through that process. But they've got to put these regulations on trial right now to set the stage for being able to get rid of them in 6 months.
All right. Rick Manning, Americans for Limited Government, getliberty.org. I get the newsletter. I would encourage other people to sign up. All right. Hey, Rick, good talking to you again. We'll talk to you again soon. All right.
Thanks, Rick.
Take care.
Your first morning news dump of the day comes your way here in just about 2.5 minutes, just under 2.5 minutes, right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
Thanks for being my voice in all this.
This is News Talk STL.
There are people out there that feel the way that I feel and say what I say.
Welcome home.
How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-696-2871. 800-696-2871. 800-696-2871. That's 800-696-2871.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio 3 times every week yet on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Thanks for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
All right, Democrats in Congress, you know, the soon-to-be political minority, they are making it clear what they demand.
Oh, they have plenty of demands still.
I got a pound on the counter. What they demand. There it is.
Okay.
All right, a mentally ill man is elected to Congress, and now they got to figure out how to navigate that whole mess.
Including bathrooms.
Yeah, especially bathrooms. But the funny part is, and I say funny, not as in humorous, obviously, is Nancy Mace is the one standing in the gap here.
Mm-hmm.
And normally you would think a woman who has survived the assaults that she's survived would be the one that they rush to emulate.
You would think.
Put on a pedestal. But no.
Yeah.
Because she's standing against a pervert.
Yeah.
Man.
First woman to graduate from a military academy,
Right.
from the Citadel.
Right. And but she says, no, the man can't come in the women's bathrooms in the U.S. Capitol. And she is just I wouldn't even say unbelievable. We knew this was coming, but it's just showing the far left for the gross, disgusting mindset that it actually is.
Yeah, they didn't learn their lesson on November 5th, I guess.
I don't feel like pulling punches today. We're talking about this one at all. So, and I'm going to probably go so far as to some people, probably even on our side, are going to disagree with how harsh I think we should be on this. All right, it is 5:50 right now. Also, the Blues, not good right now. Let's dump some news on you here.
The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The Morning News Dump.
Okay, quick note here. A precautionary, and I'm stressing the word precautionary, boil order is issued for a few neighborhoods in the city, and that is because of a water main break. The Vanderloo, Carr Square, St. Louis Place in North City neighborhoods, and the Benton Park, Marine Villa, and Soulard neighborhoods in South City are all affected. So they're recommending you boil any water that comes out of your tap before drinking, cooking, brushing teeth, anything like that. There has not been any danger or contamination detected or confirmed. This is purely a precaution, and they'll reevaluate throughout the day to see whether or not that's going to remain in place or not. All right, let's talk about the craziness that's happening in Congress here. Of course, the Democrats preparing to be the minority throughout Washington, D.C., as Donald Trump obviously not only is in the White House come January, but the Republicans taking over the Senate. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says unity is the priority for House Democrats. I don't believe him, but he also vows to stand firm and make some demand on the issues.
We will protect the things that the American people have made clear matter to them. Protect Social Security, protect Medicare, protect the Affordable Care Act, protect the progress that has been made in the context of the climate crisis.
The progress that has been made, essentially making life way, way, way too expensive. As a matter of fact, at 7:05, this is going to be interesting. The Alliance for Consumers has a new campaign out called, I think it's 2035. Basically, it's imagine living in a world where people like Hakeem Jeffries get what they want.
There's a nightmare.
Oh my goodness. They actually made a YouTube video of it. That's really pretty well done here. We should put it up on our social media. All right. There was an interesting hearing yesterday. The House Transportation and Infrastructure Subcommittee, which sounds really boring, like make your eyes glaze over. But actually what happened is they held a hearing regarding FEMA's response to Hurricanes Helene and Milton. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell was among those who was testifying, and she used her words to denounce the actions of a now former employee who told relief workers to skip homes with Donald Trump signs in them.
I do not believe that this employee's actions are indicative of any widespread cultural problems at FEMA. FEMA, however, has taken appropriate action to ensure that this matter is fully investigated.
That former employee's name is Marnie Washington, and she's told media, including Fox, that the agency is throwing her under the bus, and there is more of this than is not. She says it's not just me. This is just the way that it was, basically. And of course, at that same hearing, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, he was pushing back against Deanne Criswell, not letting her just say, no, it's just isolated incident. We're investigating. We're taking care of it. Don't worry about it. And please give us $100 billion. Well, 94 billion, but you know what I mean. Here's what he had to say.
We had another whistleblower come forward during the middle of the testimony to communicate with our lawyers to say that a similar incident happened to them in Georgia, where a FEMA worker told the people, the American citizens, you need to get rid of those Trump signs in your yard or nobody's going to help you with FEMA.
Yeah, so now we've got reports of this in at least 2 states. At least. And so is this a directive from FEMA? No, I don't think it is by any stretch of the imagination. But do I think that was accepted behavior? We're starting to see signs that say, well, yeah, pick and choose. And of course, the far left truly thinks anybody who doesn't kowtow to their thinking, well, they must be a threat or an enemy.
I think thankfully people were waking up to that fact, and they showed it at the polls.
Oh, well, yeah. But yeah, when it comes to this, of course, FEMA is going to continue on, you know, and you don't walk in and snap a finger and change a mindset, even with new administrators and a new president. So this is one of those where a lot of times in Washington, D.C., the hearings are just for show. I mean, that's really what they are. They're a song and a dance. And on this one, though, this is bigger because at the last minute going out of the Biden administration, they're saying, okay, we went, $95 billion, whatever it is that they want, almost $100 billion to backfill FEMA because they spent all this money on hurricanes, which they did, or hurricane relief and rescue, which they did. But at the same time, you've got questions over, wait a minute, why are we going to just rush to backfill because you spent that money when you also wasted all this other money? We want some systemic changes in how you handle the money and what and who you prioritize before we automatically just write the check, which, by the way, would probably come from borrowed money anyway. Man, so a lot going on there. Okay, we're going to get into this in more depth here. South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace introducing legislation to ban men who pretend to be women. The news copy says ban transgender women. That is not a thing. It's not a real thing. That would ban men who are pretending to be women from using women's bathrooms on Capitol Hill. This comes as Sarah McBride, that's what his name is, was elected to Congress from Delaware. And he is a man who pretends to be a woman and demands everybody call him a woman. I don't know what his actual given name is. I think he's legally changed his name to Sarah McBride. Congresswoman Mace tells Fox Business's The Evening Edit she wants to introduce wider legislation regarding the issue. She doesn't want to stop at just Capitol Hill.
We had another whistleblower.
Whoops, I'm sorry. That is the wrong one. Clearly not Nancy Mace. Here's what Nancy Mace had to say about it.
The time is now to have this fight. I am willing to die on this hill, and I'm asking for everyone across the country to call their member of Congress and put this thing to a stop. It's not going to stop here on the Hill. I'm going to file more legislation that'll reach across the entire country to protect women and girls everywhere.
All right, so this debate's back. And we're going to get into it in a lot more depth right around 6:35, I think. All right, the Blues have now lost 6 of their last 7 games. Yikes. Last night's defeat was to the Wild at Enterprise. The final score was 4-2. The homestand continues on Thursday when the Blues host the Sharks.
When it comes to spending your tax dollars and teaching your kids, governments and school districts should be an open book. But in Missouri, that's not always the case. Recently, the Show Me Institute sent out a sunshine law request to school districts across the state, asking for information on whether certain topics are being taught. Specifically, a controversial one called critical race theory was included in the list. Many districts didn't respond. Some wanted to charge large fees to process the documents. Lee's Summit outside Kansas City wanted over $35,000. A rural district, Morgan County, wanted $15,000. The Sunshine Law does allow charging a reasonable fee for sending out information, but there's nothing reasonable about $35,000 or $15,000. These districts should want to be transparent about their curriculums. Taxpayers deserve to know what their kids are being taught. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Epic STL is always on the lookout for highly motivated, goal-oriented, results-driven people to add to our growing, winning team of sales and content professionals. 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL is a locally owned and operated venture of Epic STL. Apply to be a part of our creative, fun, and rewarding work environment by simply going to the Connect tab on newstalkstl.com and click on Application. Epic STL and News Talk STL are equal opportunity employers.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL, On a Garage, and we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to Skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The Pacific Northwest taking a beating from a powerful storm, a bomb cyclone generating high winds and flooding rains. Issaquah, Washington homeowner Wendy Harrington says a storm brought a massive tree crashing down on her house.
It felt explosive, or like there was a bomb going off, breaking glass, the sound of breaking glass. Everything was just very loud. I thought the whole wall was coming down. And then you see the branches and then the glass. There's glass all the way to the back door. I don't know if the roof is okay.
She spoke with ComoNews.com. The ferocious storm has left hundreds of thousands without power, blocked many roads with trees, downed power lines, and debris. The storm is blamed for 1 death. The U.S. sending anti-personnel landmines to Ukraine. It's another about-face for President Biden. He previously rejected the idea out of concern for the safety of Ukraine's civilian population. The change comes quick on the heels of a decision to allow Ukraine to fire long-range American-made missiles into Russian territory. Donald Trump continues to assemble his team, looking to hit the ground running 2 months from today.
The president-elect said he is nominating longtime TV talk show host Dr. Mehmet Oz to lead the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. In a statement, Trump said Oz will cut waste and fraud within the country's most expensive government agency. He also has chosen his transition co-chair, Howard Lutnick, to be Commerce Secretary. Lutnick, who was said to be in the running for Treasury Secretary, is a billionaire who heads the brokerage and investment bank Cantor Fitzgerald. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Los Angeles on its way to becoming a sanctuary city. In the first of 2 votes, the city council has approved the statute, which the mayor says she supports. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures 81 points higher, NASDAQ futures up 24. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, everyone. If you or someone you know were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma within the past 20 years, listen up, because you could be entitled to significant cash compensation. For years, the weed killer Roundup was used in homes, farms, and gardens, and now studies have proven a direct link between Roundup and this deadly cancer. So if you or someone you know have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call us and find out if you qualify for a cash settlement. 800-842-6060. That's 800-842-6060. Time to file a claim is running out, so don't delay. The call is free, the consultation is free, and you can find out if you qualify for a monetary award. Call 800-842-6060. That's 800-842-6060. 800-842-6060. Call now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We've got a cool down coming, some of the coldest air of the season by Thursday and Friday. We also have some windy days ahead. We'll start off near normal, though, on Wednesday. Low of 43, some early morning clouds and sunshine in the afternoon, and a high of 54. But gusts out of the west at 35 miles per hour, so that wind's going to add a bite. Thursday, windy as well, gusts perhaps up to 40 miles per hour, but an even colder day, 45 for the high temperature. Haven't had highs in the 40s this fall yet, but we'll have it Thursday with mostly sunny skies and a lot of wind. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Piccadilly Palace, located in Union, Missouri. The ultimate family fun center is Piccadilly Palace. Call 314-860-6418 or visit piccadillypalace.com.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo inviting you to join my band along with Somebody to Love, tribute to Queen, for an awesome night of music Saturday, November 30th at Diamond Music Hall. Join us as we kick off the season of holiday cheer with my band, Tony Colombo and the North County Sound Machine, featuring Katie Fitzpatrick, a tribute to Duran Duran, and Somebody to Love, a tribute to Queen. Support live local music and join us for a great party Saturday, November 30th at Diamond Music Hall. Brought to you by Weber Chevrolet. Get your tickets now at diamondmusichall.com.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton. This is what's happening.
I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before.
Communism is over. Our country's back.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin God.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
Over the past several years, one of the debates that we're having over the economy is the price of things that we need in our everyday lives. We've heard about groceries. We've heard about gas. We've also heard a lot about housing. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into housing, and it's not just the value of the dollar, although that certainly matters. What governments say can and can't happen has probably a much bigger impact. And now there's a new book that takes a unique approach to understanding a lot of these issues. I'm Mike Ferguson, and I don't know that I've ever featured a graphic novel before on the show, doing all the years of this program right here. But I'm now joined by Bryan Caplan, with an economist with George Mason University, and the author of Build, Baby Build, The Science and the Ethics of Housing Regulation. And Bryan, first of all, thanks for being on the program, because I have a feeling the key word here is regulation that we're going to talk about. But first, let me start off with the graphic novel aspect of this. You economist types, I don't want to stereotype, but you're supposed to use charts and graphs and big words, and I'm not supposed to understand what you're saying, and my eyes are supposed to glaze over. And now you're telling me there's a graphic novel for people to look at and understand the issues. How did that come about?
Right. Thanks very much for having me on the show. I mean, honestly, there is 20 years worth of fantastic research on housing regulation and its destructive effects, but almost no one will ever read it because it's too boring. What I wanted to do here was to take a lot of serious research and turn it into a book that a lot of people would really want to read, including kids. I wanted to make it a book where people who are professional researchers will look at it and say it's at least accurate and actually teaches them something new. At the same time, even precocious kids can pick it up. I've got a friend who says his 3-year-old, his favorite book is My Build Baby Build.
And let's talk about those regulations, because, we've got the presidential campaign just addressed housing, with both candidates talking about different things they wanted to do from a federal level. But when we talk about the regulation, we're generally talking about obstacles at the local level, correct?
Yeah, state and local. I mean, really, what it comes down to is the government treats developers like criminals. Someone says, I want to build something, like, well, what the hell are you doing? What are you planning on? Let's go and look at it. And then almost whatever you want to do, like, no, you can't do that. So, like, most obviously, we want to build skyscrapers, almost impossible in most cities. There's a few where they'll let you do it a bit, but even there, they are breathing down your neck, trying to make it really hard. And so it's a strangling supply. Multifamily homes, you want to build apartments or townhomes, government gives extra scrutiny to that. But even for single family homes, what the government will generally do is say you've got to use a lot of land for every house, which means that you can't build that many houses.
I've been on a planning and zoning commission before. I've been on a board of aldermen before. I know exactly what you're talking about. And let me give you what I heard and what I dealt with when I was in those appointed and elected positions is, well, we have a master plan. We know what we want our community to look like. We don't want just anybody coming in here. Never a mention of private property rights, but it's a matter of, well, if the neighborhood doesn't want this, or maybe my favorite, it's going to affect property values. Therefore, we need to vet, filter, and even keep out some things that we don't want here. Is there a balance between community rights and community desires versus meeting that market demand? Because we're talking about supply and demand, but we're really talking about government screwing up the supply side.
I mean, the main thing that's going on in all this complaining is that obviously when you build new stuff, it does cause some problems, but it also causes a bunch of good things that almost nobody talks about. It's almost never happens. Someone comes to a meeting and says, if we build more homes in this area, there'll be more kids for my kids to play with. We should totally build them. Like, that person doesn't show up. The people show up are people saying, oh, there's going to be problems with crowding or traffic or parking, which generally there's something to it. But the net effect, a sensible person considers all the good and all the bad. And all the evidence we have is that building more stuff is on balance good, and yet government tries to stop it. And again, treats builders and developers like criminals, like, prove to me there won't be a problem. Well, yeah, like, there's always a problem with anything you do, but why don't we think about the net effect, what's good on balance, instead of just being negative Nellies, which is the way that governments generally operate.
The book is called Build Baby Build: The Science and Ethics of Housing Regulation. The book is out
It's
now.
available right now.
Yeah,
and a great stocking stuffer. So if you want to go and give a kid a book they'll actually read, give them Build Baby Build.
All right, and Bryan Caplan is the writer. That's who we're visiting with right now. Let me ask you about the word ethics in it. Ethics of housing regulations. So often this is couched as, well, this is a practical discussion. You can't build that apartment complex there because that secondary thoroughfare is only 2 lanes, or the school district isn't equipped to take on 500 more kids, or whatever the case is. Those are the logistics of it, and that's often the excuses used to stop something. What do you mean when you say the ethics of it?
Well, what I mean is, what is the way that you think about whether it is a good idea to build housing or not? What are the ethics about whether you should be proving new stuff? So like really what I do is just consider a bunch of standard philosophical views, things like utilitarianism. We should do what's best, or what maximizes total human happiness. And I said, all right, well, let's think about it that way. Right. So, are we really maximizing human happiness by making it really hard to build stuff? And then where are the people that don't move into your area? Where are they going to live instead? Right. So they're going to have to live far away or in a worse area. So really what I want to do here is, when someone is defending regulation, normally there's actually a moral fervor to it. If you go to a meeting, sounds like you have been to meetings, there's a great deal of self-righteousness in those meetings. Like, we're the people that are standing up for our community. The question is, well, what exactly are you doing? Are you really going and making things better for people in general? Are you making things better even for the people in your community? or are you hyper focused on complaints? And I say that's really the basis for housing regulation, is taking complaints way too seriously and not thinking about the big picture, which is cheap housing is a key component of high quality of life. If you make housing really expensive, then only rich people are going to be able to afford a nice place. If you make it cheap through abundance, then it's something that most people will be able to enjoy.
The reality is, and I don't know that people will say this out loud or publicly, but my experience was, but we want the rich neighbors. We don't want the poor neighbors who need the cheap housing. They can go somewhere else because we think they're going to bring a bunch of problems, whereas the rich people are going to bring in a bunch of money. That's what they won't say out loud, but I think that's a large part of these complaints. And yes, I've been to more of these meetings than I'd ever care to recount at this point.
I mean, honestly, I think you're being optimistic. If there were really some city where they said you can build anything you want as long as for rich people, they'd be building a ton of stuff. Think about San Francisco. If you were able to go and buy up those small 2 and 3 story townhomes and put in skyscrapers, those would all be housing for rich people because it's downtown San Francisco. And yet San Francisco won't even let them do that. This is stuff where you could go and create billions, probably maybe a full $1 trillion worth of value just by allowing them to buy up all of those historic homes, knock them down and put up skyscrapers, which would be for rich people. And yet they wouldn't do even that. So I think the real story is just there is a extreme negativity towards any kind of progress in this area. There probably is extra concern about letting in people that are going to be a tax burden. Even there, I would say that it is such an uncreative and unentrepreneurial approach. So again, if you're really worried about, say, the schools getting overcrowded, then the result would be, fine, we are super open to retirement housing. Build all the retirement housing you want. Those people don't have kids, so we don't have to worry about the cost, and they'll just pay property taxes. But even there, if a developer comes in and says, I want to go and build 1,000 new units of retirement housing, they don't roll out the red carpet. It's the usual thing. Well, let's consider any possible negatives. And if there's any possible negatives, we'll hold your project up for years. And there's always negatives.
The last minute or so we've got, Bryan, what would be the right role of government or of regulation? Is there a light touch that is appropriate when it comes to development, whether it is the multi-housing or more single housing or high rises or whatever it is? Is there a proper role for that, and or for those to say, wait a minute, we do have a character of our community we want to preserve?
My honest opinion is I just like to take a flamethrower to these regulations. They are terrible, and the slippery slope is very real. You say, let's just have a few reasonable regulations. It's no big deal. That's how this got started, and it's turned into this terrible cancer on the system. Before we had the housing regulation that we're familiar with, we had 700 years where basically the owner of the property can do whatever they want on it. And if you don't like it, you have to sue them, which is a feature, not a bug, because it's hard to sue. Human beings naturally tend to have unreasonable complaints. And if they have to go and fight it out in court, this really shuts up most of the unreasonable complaints. That was the better system. And the closer we go back to that, the better.
All right. Bryan Caplan, the book is Build, Baby Build, The Science and Ethics of Housing Regulation. And we're pretty much out of time, but I also want to point out that the key way to build wealth in this country is, frankly, home ownership, and making that more affordable actually lifts more people out of poverty as well. Bryan, thanks so much for being on the program.
Great having been here. Thanks a lot.
Okay, this isn't so much a Republican and Democrat thing. It is, some people would call it local control. Other people say, hey, no, we have a vested interest in what you can do with your property. Other people say, like Bryan, saying, you know what? We have a shortage. Let the market meet the shortage. Yeah, what do you think? It's not as cut and dry as a lot of people would say on either side. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Don't try to make me stop. Inspiration. You have a soul so dark it is no more. And all at once depart, no destination. Making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now. I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this
Looking for a top quality tactical gear and expert advice? Look no further than Discount Tactical, your one-stop shop for all things firearms and self-defense. Located in the heart of Warrenton, we've been serving the community for 3 years with our friendly, professional, and knowledgeable staff. From custom AR builds and silencers to the largest selection of parts, we've got you covered. Self-defense weapons, SBRs, knives, ammo, custom holsters, weapon lights, optics, and body armor. Discount Tactical, online at discounttacticalarmory.com or stop by today and gear up with confidence.
Tony Colombo here for the cleaning pros at Zero Res, the team we trust with keeping our home clean and healthy. And the folks at Zero Res know how important it is to you to have a clean, healthy home this holiday season. And that's why they have this great offer for you right now. Book a cleaning with Zero Res in November and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Again, just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
I'm so tired of my water smelling like rotten eggs, ironbound. It makes my clothes and home smell, and my sink and faucet look dirty. I'm calling Jones Air and Water Treatment for their solution to this pollution.
Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to your pollution. Call now for your free water analysis at 636-899-1040 and live with clean, great-tasting water. That's 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Are the days of a personal doctor gone? Not at Body of Health Direct Primary Care. I'm Dr. Randy Tobler to share how our design is putting the care back into healthcare. Plain and simple, our members, not insurance companies, get our exclusive focus. That means same or next day appointments, responsive answers to your concerns, and a no-spin, big tool chest approach. It's about time you get serious time devoted to your medical needs. To learn about healthcare the way it ought to be, schedule a discovery call today at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Felt so easy in the morning sun.
I literally was looking through papers and set aside my schedule for this hour. I'm like, oops, I wrote it. Where is it? I am a trained professional. Don't try this. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. All right. 619. That's one of those things, that topic, like talking to Bryan Caplan right there. First of all, a graphic novel about housing regulations.
I'm actually very, very interested. as a bona fide comic book nerd, graphic novels really like I hear the term and my ears perk up kind of automatically. Graphic novel.
Yeah, there
yes.
it is.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get that.
There he is. Yeah, is that are we gonna put that up on the News Talk STL book club?
Yes,
we should do that. Yeah, we should do that. All right, 314-912-1019. I got some people some thoughts on this. Looks like here. We're gonna start with let's go ahead and we'll start with Joe, right?
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Joe,
sure.
We're starting with you. Joe, you're on News Talk STL. What's your take on what Bryan had to say?
Okay, well, I lived what he was talking about, build, baby, build. For 25 years prior to moving to St. Louis, almost 6 years ago, I lived in Lake County, Illinois. And 30 years ago, Lake County, Illinois was a relatively rural bedroom community kind of county. And then over those late 90s, early 2000s, the developers ran roughshod over the county and built subdivisions as fast as they could. And there was no consideration for infrastructure, roads, schools. So today it's a congested urban mess with the second highest property taxes in the nation.
Yeah, well, the property taxes throughout Illinois. I actually just saw a story. That's not just Lake County. Montgomery County got hammered by it. Yeah, that the property tax issue is, you're spot on about that. So the infrastructure part of that, is that the developer's fault, or did the local government just simply not plan for it well enough?
I don't think there was a master plan in Lake County, so they just let the developers build subdivisions.
Yeah.
And even to this day, these hundreds of thousands of people are basically driving around on essentially farm roads that are 2 lane.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I remember in where my mom used to live in Raymore. It's funny. I remember when the highway going out to there was a 2 lane farm road, and then they built a bunch of subdivisions. Then eventually they had to catch up for it. But here's the question then. I think one of the things that Bryan is arguing, and just at least the way I took it in the conversation, is saying, you know what, if they buy the property, they own it. Should anybody stop them from building something if there's a market? I mean, clearly people wanted to live out there in Lake County.
Well, yeah, that's true. They were escaping the city basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where a lot of that rub comes. Yeah, I mean,
right 25 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I was on a planning and zoning committee, years ago, and we had the same thing where we had somebody. Well, that was the same thing. We had somebody that built a subdivision because there was a lot of demand for it, and I was actually the guy who was arguing for less restrictions because we had a bunch of people that were saying, well, it's got to be this big, it's got to be 2 stories, it's got to be valued at least this. We don't, but the market was calling for something different, and the central planning wasn't working either. So what's the exact right answer? I don't.
Yeah,
it's different for probably every community. Yeah,
that's the balance. I'm in Jefferson County now, so and we just had this battle in the primary between 3 county council races where you could say there were preservationists versus the developer lobby, and 2 out of 3 preservationists succeeded, and the only reason the one developer lobby guy won is because Jeff Rodas split the vote.
Yeah, there was because we did our live remote. We did a broadcast from Jeff County. I got a kind of a crash course in a lot of that, and
there was a lot of discussion about how to deal with growth.
There was a lot of it because there's a lot of people who want to move to Jefferson County, frankly, to get out of St. Louis County, and in St. Charles County and in Jefferson County both. What we are finding is a whole lot of people are saying, no, we don't want you here. that's I mean. Yeah, so I mean, I don't think I'm overstating it. I think it's no more. We don't want more homes. We don't want more subdivisions. We don't want more kids in the school district. We're fine the way we are. We're fine with our property values going up. Stop building stuff. And so you've got a conflict between, what you're calling preservationists and the market saying, hey, there are people who want to move to Jefferson County. And then we wonder why housing is so expensive when you won't let anybody build it.
And that's why, our council is working hard on developing. This is government regulation we're talking about, but the master plan for how to distribute development. Have certain areas that are high density, and then keep certain areas that are rural, kind of still rural. It's going to be quite the undertaking to strike that balance.
Yeah. All right, Joe, I got a couple other people. I got some thoughts on this. Thanks for being a part of the conversation, man. Let's go now to Scott. Hey, Scott, you're on News Talk STL.
Morning, gentlemen. All this gets down to balancing of risk. Who wants to do what? A lot, because this deals with, in most cases, a person's largest asset. There's a lot of NIMBY, right? Not in my backyard.
Yep.
And even the mayor, I think over the past, I don't know if it was a mayor or alderman, downtown St. Louis, the whole VRBO, they don't want the youth going down and having parties and shooting people, so they require 2 and 3 day minimum stays. So all this, I appreciate the gentleman's book. I didn't get it or read it, but I think this is one of the more complex and vexing problems to work through, just because it deals so much with people's with a major asset, the value of something. You don't want you don't necessarily want, if zoning is legal, a brothel next to your house, or you don't necessarily want a McDonald's, even though it's a source of jobs and food, next to your house. So if it's a Wild West zoning, that doesn't work either.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Scott, appreciate you being on. Okay. Well, let's pick this up, Gabe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's one of the things where he mentioned the NIMBYs.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think you could call Bryan probably the anti-NIMBY.
Mm-hmm.
He's the YIMBY.
Yes, in my
backyard.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because let's start with the bigger issue that his premise is that part of what we're seeing in the economy is that, and actually I just did an interview on my national show about this, is that housing is out of reach for a lot of people, particularly 2 groups of people.
Yeah.
Fixed incomes,
yes,
which are generally older Americans, retired Americans, And then generation, what's the younger one now? The 20s, Z?
The Zs, yes,
Zs,
the Zoomers.
yeah. So they're at record rates since the 50s.
Right.
Are living still with their parents. Those who are under 30 still living with their parents or moving back in with their parents. They can't afford housing.
Mm-hmm.
And either rents have gone up accordingly because you can't buy a house,
right.
Or they don't want to rent as far as like not being a good investment.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think there are good reasons to rent at time. It just depends on your situation.
Sure.
On this. So sometimes renting is good. Sometimes it's not. So, but his basic premise is you want the price of housing to go down, open up the market, let people build housing based on what the market is. And Scott just talked about risk on this. And I think he was talking about a different element of risk on this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, I don't think any development should ever be subsidized by any government whatsoever.
No, gosh,
none,
no.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
None.
Ever.
None, ever. So the developer, the buyer, you've got to buy the land. You've got to build the infrastructure. Now, I do think it's the water district or the electrical, whatever. There, it's fine to say, okay, well, people are going to live here. We've got to connect you to the water. Then we'll sell you the water.
Right.
But if people don't want to buy the homes, you lose out.
Right.
And then you let the market come into play on this. And so, but Scott's completely right in that it is very complex.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the sort of two competing ideas here. First of all is you want the free market to play out because every time the government tries to stick their nose into, putting their finger on the scale of supply and demand, they're going to mess it up because people ought to just consider the law of supply and demand a law of nature because it basically is.
Yeah,
that's actually that's how our adrenal system works. That's how the natural habitats work. Supply and all of that. It's a law of nature. So every time you try to defy it, you're basically going against God. So he's going to strike you down. But to overstate the point.
Right.
But then on the other side is the idea of city planning. There does need to be there is a place for government to provide some sort of guardrails. So a guide to make sure that the city that eventually comes to being isn't a horrible congested mess like one of our callers said.
And you mentioned city planning. Gabe Vicky on Rumble says that she just moved to St. Charles County 4 years ago, and I can't breathe. There's too much building going on here.
There's too much.
Well, there's a lot of building in some parts of the county, and other parts of St. Charles County, they're fighting over trying to get other and St. Louis counties are trying to get other developments in, and some of the local county commissioners are like, nope, we've got too much as it is. We don't want, and that's the thing. I kind of cringed at. We were interviewing with one of our remote broadcasts, one of the county commissioners in St. Charles County, and he's like, no, we don't want any more. We don't want any more of these developments. We don't want any more apartment complexes. I'm thinking, but there's a market for it. There's a demand for it. These are taxpayers. These are people who are going to buy food and groceries and restaurants and sporting goods and they're going to get their oil change in their car. And it's like, nope, we don't want them. And so if we have to have a balance, where is that? Is it a matter of saying, okay, here's an industrial area. This is where the smokestacks go. This is where, okay, so we're not going to put apartments in there.
Right. Here's where the smokestacks, here are the skyscrapers.
Right.
Here are the single family homes with some land.
Right.
Here are the farms.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the farms, farmers are, hey,
yeah,
they offer them the money.
They're the ones getting bought up.
They're the ones getting bought up, and they're doing so. But I remember being on a planning and zoning commission, and I was stunned. First of all, I was pretty young, and so the amount of control that everybody who was appointed, we weren't even elected, we were appointed. How much they felt they knew what was best for other people's property really rubbed me the wrong way. And probably deepened my libertarianism a little bit. I mean, one woman was just disgusted with me when I said, we don't own that. If the market's calling for a one-story home worth $200,000, why are we insisting on a two-story home worth $500,000? Because that's our plan. That's what we want our community. Like, you don't own the property. One point they're like, we have to have these regulations. She said, how would you like to live next to a purple house? I did live next to a purple house at that moment. I well, I do live next to a purple house.
It's fine.
I was like, it's my life's fine. He goes, well, that's just you. I'm like, I didn't ask your permission. All right. 314-912-1019.
What radicalized you, Mike?
The purple house.
House
Apparently the purple house did. And Harry Brown's books.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. The Allman Report.
Hey, Wednesday on the Allman Report. So much fun and frivolity. And, of course, our biz guru, Rick Pogue. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman. Weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A shot of cooler air drops us back to near normal today, from 72 yesterday to 55 for the high this afternoon. Meanwhile, turning windy out there. This west wind could gust up to 35 miles per hour at times today and tomorrow. Some clouds drifting through tonight as even colder air arrives, down to 34 degrees early Thursday morning with a high tomorrow of only 44. That'll be the coldest afternoon in St. Louis since March. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Capistrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit STLFenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
With the average funeral bill over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Speak with Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Contact Benjamin at memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial, everlasting protection.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
You know what's going on?
Have a great awakening.
You see through the smoke screen.
It's cool to be woke. News Talk STL.
Until it's not.
News, analysis, opinion.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
I'm telling you, Striper needs to send me an autograph something. Estelle puts in so much Striper.
Because this is some of their new stuff.
This is new stuff
because it's so relevant.
I know. You know what's really bad is and I wasn't at their show at the Hawthorne a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was at their show at Delmar Hall a couple years ago. But nobody wants to hear the new stuff. It's like, no, you're from the 80s. Play the stuff I listened to in high school. But this is good stuff. Let me listen to this.
Yeah, it's got a feel, kind of 80s feel to it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to look at the comments with these songs when you go online. Invariably, folks say you guys are as good, if not better, than you were 40 years ago.
I think that's the case. I think that they've just gotten better every year. I really do. Because there's a lot of bands. I'm like, yeah, just stick with the old stuff. I'm going to take me down memory lane. I'll buy a ticket, cash the check. You're good. But a couple of the bands, man, they just get better and better. I mean, it sounds foofy to say it, but, they're artists. They create, and there's, a lot of them to say, if I don't stop creating something, I feel like I'm going to wither away, and then they just get better and better and better at their craft. I mean, it's a vocation. It's craft.
And amazingly, their vocals have maintained the quality from back in the day. I mean, this is like listening to Soldiers Under Command but 40 years later, they still sound as good, or if not better.
Yeah, and they've been through a lot because, their guitar player, he goes by, his stage name is Oz Fox.
Mm-hmm.
He's been through round and round and round of cancer, brain cancer. It's amazing that he's hanging on there, but he keeps coming back, and so that affects a lot of things there as well. All right, 6:37 right now. Okay, there are a lot of dumb voters in Delaware. Oh, did I say that? I just said it. Right. They elected a man in a dress who pretends that he is a woman to Congress. Now, he's actually a state senator now, and they've elected this guy to Congress. He goes by the name Sarah McBride. I'm assuming he's legally changed his name to Sarah McBride. So the question is now what? And it's a whole thing in Washington, D.C., and the whole trans issue is now front and center, and Nancy Mace is the one standing in the gap here. By the way, our Flashback Friday coming up here in a couple days, so get in your request. Deadline is tomorrow. And also, I didn't get a chance to mention this just yet, but we were challenged yesterday to do the Trump dance. So I'm telling you, you're going to see that.
Yeah, it's coming.
I'm turning that challenge back around on all of you. Email me your clip of you doing the Trump dance. It could be 5 or 10 seconds. Email me at mike@newstalkstl.com because we're putting it together now. And I'm telling you, pretty much everybody in the station is going to be featured. Guys, you're going to be featured.
Yes.
Yes, it's going to happen.
It is.
I want to see it. Have your kids do it. Have your grandma do it. Have your boss do it. Have the cop writing a ticket. Do it. Whatever. But you got to give in to me by tomorrow, okay? All right.
Cop, fireman.
That's right.
Motorcycle. Wait a minute. Did we just create the village people?
Our own village people.
We created the village people? Yeah, I think we did.
Oh, man. All right. So here's what's happening. Nancy Mace files a bill to keep the dude out of the women's bathroom.
I want to talk about this.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. Every single Congress critter has a bathroom in their office. So it's not like this is putting upon this guy.
Right.
But it's basically saying, in the common area, the cloakroom, whatever, dude, you got to go to the dude's bathroom here. The left is reacting as expected. I don't have enough time to play it, but did you see the video of the ABC news reporter?
Oh, getting handed his backside.
My goodness.
She went in.
It's like a 3 or 4 minute thing. He runs over to her with his camera, and I'm taking the video from him. He doesn't interview her. He argues with her the whole time.
On the Capitol steps, right?
Yeah, on the Capitol steps. Yeah.
Okay.
And like Gabe said, she just shreds him.
She just lit him up.
Oh, my goodness.
She's like, not only that, but if they knock this one down, I'm bringing another one.
That's right.
Basically, it's like, yeah, come at me, bro. She did.
That's right. Yeah. So she did a lot of the media rounds. Here is let me make sure I give the right credit here. She was on with the Ingram angle, Laura Ingram, talking about this on Fox last night.
This is a person who's threatened to come into women's private spaces, and I'm a survivor of rape, sexual violence, and abuse. And I know how deeply vulnerable women are in places where we feel we have a right to privacy. And this is not okay. If you're a biological man, if you're born a man, you use the men's restroom.
Yeah, so pretty simple concept on this. Now, I will say that I'm actually been pleasantly surprised with how many Republicans in Congress have come out and said, yeah, we're standing our ground here.
Yes,
whether they continue to stand their ground remains to be seen or not, because what's being proposed here, yes, there's a bill, but it's also going to be part of a rules package.
Right.
So the U.S. House has the autonomy to decide its own rules.
Right.
Republicans are in charge right now. So the Republicans can say, no, dude, you're in the dude's bathroom, period. We're moving on.
Right. They could also say things like no shorts on the House floor.
That's right.
Remember that fight with the
with Fetterman in the Senate.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
and a hoodie.
And a hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. So Mike Johnson was asked about this. Here's part of what he had to say, and this is one of those kind of like press gaggle things in the Capitol.
A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said. But I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time.
Okay, so here's where I'm about to get myself in trouble.
Okay.
314-912-1019 for those of you about to get mad at me. I hear that a lot. Is like, well, you know what? Everybody's created in God's image. We're going to treat everybody with dignity and respect. I disagree. I don't think that you should extend the dignity and respect to people who demand that you shed that, to people who have chosen not to act with dignity and have the disrespect to demand everybody else play into their mental illness and their fantasies and their perversions. So I disagree that everybody deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
Yeah, I mean, I get your idea. I get what you're putting down. My only kind of caveat to the results of that, because we have the same exact stance on this. The only caveat I have is that I think when people say things like dignity and respect, we don't always mean the same thing.
Right.
Because in my world, when I treat somebody, I respect other people well enough to tell them when they're wrong. I think that's a sign of respect to be able to tell somebody to their face, I think you're wrong, or I think this is true and you are living in a lie. Yet I think that is a form of respect. I think that's a form of love, because the thing is, no parent parents their child, lovingly parents their child into their own delusions. Oh, of course you are a pickup truck, Johnny.
Right, yeah.
It's like, why don't you go run out there in the streets and run along the semis that are going there? It's like, go, Johnny, go.
Who are they to tell you what you can and can't be?
Of course you can fly. Here, let me help you up onto the roof of the garage.
Yeah.
Like, a loving parent knows that sometimes love requires that you correct and that you argue with people about what the truth is. And sometimes you might even have to exert your authority or even shame somebody because they are living outside of reality.
Now, one of the things that you do that is a tradition that goes back literally to the 1700s in this country is when somebody is making a motion and they are going to speak on a bill, which this person has a right to do. He was elected by the people of Delaware, who clearly either had no better options or they're just dumb. And you say the gentleman from Missouri, the gentle lady from Illinois, what are they going to do when this guy gets up to speak? They should, under the House rules, say the gentleman from Delaware. And because the argument that cheers, it's not, what's the big deal? Just use
the pronoun.
Just use, and by the way, there was a Republican and I forgot who it was. I wish I should have grabbed the thing, but he walked up and he goes, "Hi, my name is," whatever his name was. And he goes, "My pronouns are Republican majority." And then you saw people in the back like,
it's like, oh, snap. All right.
But this is one of the things that the country clearly rejected.
Yeah.
And
they said we don't like this.
Yeah. And not only do we not like it, you will not continue to have this kind of cultural and societal control.
Right.
We will not feel pressured or shamed into abiding by or participating in your delusion.
Right.
Nancy Mace is not the most conservative Republican out there. There's a few things I disagree with her on. There's a lot that I think she's right on. I think she's an interesting person. But what's interesting, Gabe, is that you've got somebody who has acknowledged that she's been through sexual assault. She's survived it. Normally, that's exactly the person that the women's movement wants to rally around, put on a pedestal and protect, and they're making her the villain.
Yeah, it's amazing. I threw that out there on Twitter in response to something or other. I said, okay, feminists, here you go.
Right.
A rape survivor versus dude. What, who do you got? Who are you protecting now? Dude in lipstick. We've come to the point now where in order to adhere to feminism, adhere to the tenets of feminism, modern ideological feminism, you have to support penises in women's areas.
Right.
I applaud her for saying very specifically to that report is like, there should not be male genitalia in female spaces.
Oh, except she said it very bluntly.
Kind of like I did.
So she did. And the fact that she's standing firm, not backing down, looking this reporter right in the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Not backing down,
She's
not
not
saying,
couching
well,
her
no, let me
language.
explain what I'm. No. I'm right. You're wrong. This is a matter of right and wrong. This is about a moral versus immoral. And what I hope is that if we're at one of those fulcrum points culturally, that we follow through and run this nonsense back into the fringes, back into the closet, if you will.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And not feel bad about it at all. And then try to start repairing the damage that we have done societally and generationally in this country.
I think Nancy, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think she actually came out and said, this is a hill I'm willing to die on.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I've actually got that soundbite.
Okay.
Yep.
And you know what? Men out of women's washrooms and bathrooms, yes. Men out of women's sports, yes. We've got to make a stand here. This nicey nice stuff of, oh, you know what? I understand, and I want to see whatever you would like is the best thing. No, we've got to make a stand.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm to the point where when somebody says, "Well, just treat them with respect," no.
Right.
My answer is no.
Yeah.
A dude walks up in a dress and you want me and you demand of me that I accept that. The answer is no, because you're showing an active disrespect and attempt to manipulate and control me. No, you will not be treated with respect from me.
Yeah. My respect is going to look different. I'll say that.
Yeah.
way.
I'm not going to go out of my way and call you names or bash you or anything like that, but I will not participate. And I frankly, I'm not going to go out of my way to be mean, but I'm not going to go out of my way to be nice. I will not treat you with the respect or with dignity that you claim you deserve, because you've chosen to give that up.
Yeah. I mean, come on, guys. If you're not nice with your friends, why should I be nice?
That's right.
Why should I be nice to a stranger who thinks he's a chick?
That's right. Precisely. All right. Got some thoughts on it? Let's talk. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
I've got a way for you to really dress up your home, and only one guy I'd trust to do it. Michael Proctor, like doctor. Michael will personally examine which drapes, blinds, or shutters will complement your home. He doesn't just measure, he designs, and to make sure it's done right, he will install them. All this saves you money on custom-made drapes, shades, and shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. ProctorDrapery.com.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Wellington Environmental knows that many are struggling this time of year. Wellington is an advisor to the Salvation Army Gateway Citadel, and they have a way to get more people involved. Bell ringers are really needed, and they have some great spots open in South County. Wellington will help schedule for you. So if you can give an hour, maybe 2, this Christmas season, ringing a bell is fun and uplifting. You sign up 6 or more to ring for an hour. Wellington Environmental will make a customized sign on top of the bell, and you can put your family name, your team, your company, all for free. Great opportunity to help out others this Christmas. Contact Wellington, 314-644-4930, 644-4930, or WellingtonSTL.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's Stifel.com.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, Democrats in Congress, soon to be the political minority across the board, they are making it clear what they demand in the next session.
Oh, really?
Demand.
Okay.
Finger in the air. Demand.
You mean besides bathrooms?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have the sound bite I think that you were talking about. I've actually got that. I think I'm going to put that in here so people can hear what you were referring to. And also the Blues, not good right now. Not good. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you real quick here.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news. The morning news dump.
Okay, this is a precautionary boil order that's been issued for some neighborhoods in the city because of a water main break. Okay, so in North City, Vanderloo, Carr Square, and St. Louis Place neighborhoods now been issued a precautionary boil order. In the south part of the city, it's Benton Park, Marine Villa, and Soulard are affected by this. Now, very clear, no danger, no contamination, nothing like that's been detected. They haven't found anything, but the water main broke. There could be a problem. This is completely precautionary. So what's recommended is if you are going to use any water out of the tap to, brush your teeth or cook with or just drink or whatever, they recommend boiling it first before actually using it, just as a precaution. And there will be updates through the day as to when they have this all resolved and the boil order isn't needed anymore. But again, it is just precautionary. They have not found any health dangers at this point. Okay, so as Republicans are gearing up to take over the federal government come January after the elections this month, Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic leader in the House, he says, yeah, we want that whole, unity thing. But he says, we are standing firm on key issues, and here is what we demand.
We will protect the things that the American people have made clear matter to them. Protect Social Security, protect Medicare, protect the Affordable Care Act, protect the progress that has been made in the context of the climate crisis.
So, Gabe,
progress, say.
Help me out here.
Okay.
He says this is what the people demanded in the elections. How does the Democratic Party look at what happened and say, see, they want us to keep doing what we're doing?
They support our agenda. Now, I suppose, you might be able to make that inference from various local election results.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, hey, I'm still here, so that means, or hey, my favorite council person got installed, so that means we got to keep going on the climate crisis stuff. I mean, I suppose maybe you might be able to draw that conclusion, but looking at the national reputation of the Democratic Party at large, the move to the right by basically every demographic across America, I would say that is decidedly not a mandate by Democrats to continue their foolishness.
We had a similar issue yesterday when we talked about Pritzker and all the stuff that he's doing in Illinois. Are you not paying attention, Governor?
But they think everybody's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Correct them.
And all the sanctuary things coming up now.
The Los Angeles now did that too. Yeah.
Cities and states kind of going that way.
It's going to be fascinating. Get out the popcorn, but understand we're going to have strong stomachs because this is probably going to get ugly.
It could very well.
It really will. All right. There was a hearing, which normally these things are just kind of, song and dance routines. But there was a hearing regarding FEMA's response to the hurricanes. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell was among those who testified. And of course, she was asked about the FEMA employee who was caught telling people skip over helping houses that have Trump signs in front of them.
I do not believe that this employee's actions are indicative of any widespread cultural problems at FEMA. FEMA, however, has taken appropriate action to ensure that this matter is fully investigated.
Yeah, by the way, that employee's name is Marnie Washington. And she says, no, there's more to this than just me. I was doing what was expected of me. There's more to it than that. Now, do I think it's like a FEMA directive? No, I don't think that it is. But do I think that culturally within the organization, it happens more than they would like to get out? My sinking guess is, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. These things don't happen just kind of in a vacuum. It's
Right.
like, I'm going to decide this for my team. She felt very, very comfortable, not only coming up with this policy, but saying it very matter-of-factly via text to her team. Because the thing is, if you know you're doing something wrong, You know what I mean? It's like that the higher ups might not be happy about. You're not going to do it so blatantly.
Precise. Put it in writing in text messages.
Seriously.
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer was on the Ingram Angle last night on Fox responding.
We had another whistleblower come forward during the middle of the testimony to communicate with our lawyers to say that a similar incident happened to them in Georgia, where a FEMA worker told the people, the American citizens, you need to get rid of those Trump signs in your yard or nobody's going to help you with FEMA.
And of course, this is as FEMA is through the Biden administration asking Congress for another almost $100 billion. Yeah.
Please, sir, can we have some more?
Precisely. Okay, so Nancy Mace was on the Evening Edit with Elizabeth McDonald on Fox last night, talking about the bathroom thing we just talked about. I think I got time to squeeze this in real quick.
The time is now to have this fight. I am willing to die on this hill, and I'm asking for everyone across the country to call their member of Congress and put this thing to a stop. It's not going to stop here on the Hill. I'm going to file more legislation that'll reach across the entire country to protect women and girls everywhere.
Yeah, she's right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh, yes. I am so glad we have basically a spokesperson for the pushback that we need to see.
Yeah, precisely. So this is the time to win the fight, win the battle. This is the moment to do it. Republicans need to be strong enough to follow through.
Bring your whole family to the Moolah Festival of Trees this year and browse through a winter wonderland filled with over 40 exquisitely decorated Christmas trees and all the gifts. Each tree has a minimum value of $500, some worth up to $10,000. You can take a chance to win one of the beautifully decorated trees and all the gifts that go with it for as little as $1. While you're there, don't miss Kris Kringle Cafe with sweet treats and beverages available for purchase. Have your photo taken with Santa. Bring the whole family to the Moolah Shrine, November 23rd to the 30th.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of Des Peres. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss the 1879 Distillery, a one-of-a-kind experience right next door. The Village Bar offers the best value in town. Find the Village Bar on Facebook and come experience where history meets great times. You'll be glad you did.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. And MediShare is a proven thing too for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 30th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number: 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Serious questions raised about allegations of political bias in FEMA. Reports of ignoring storm victims who openly supported Donald Trump with yard signs, flags, and such. The agency's chief grilled at a congressional hearing.
On Capitol Hill, Deanne Criswell says a critical function in hurricane relief efforts is to go door to door to tell people what resources are available. In one recent case,
This employee wrote to about 11 staff members under her supervision that they should, quote, avoid homes advertising Trump, end quote.
Criswell says that employee has been fired. She does not believe this is part of any widespread cultural problem at FEMA and welcomes an investigation.
Our goal is to help all people.
A different team was sent into the field to contact all the homes that were skipped over at the employee's direction. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Powers out to more than 630,000 utility customers across Northern California, parts of Oregon, Washington State. Powerful bomb cyclone hammers the Pacific Northwest. The U.S. Embassy in Ukraine's capital closed amid fears of a Russian airstrike.
The precautionary step comes after Russian officials promised a response to President Joe Biden's decision to let Ukraine strike targets on Russian soil with US-made weapons, a move that has angered the Kremlin. The embassy adds its closure and attack warning have been issued in the context of ongoing Russian missile and drone attacks on Kyiv, and is anticipating a quick return to regular operations. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
American anti-personnel landmines will be going to Ukraine after President Biden gave the go-ahead, reversing his previous opposition to the move. Watching Wall Street, the Dow futures are up 127 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 47 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here from Progressive to tell you how you get more than great savings with us. You get customer service access through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
That's a lot of ways I can get in touch with you. I see what's going on here. You can't name favorites, but I'm your #1 customer.
Actually, we offer all our customers these ways to contact us.
I'm sure you give just any customer your personal
company
contact info.
Well, you did call us more than any other customer this year. So in that sense, you are our #1 customer.
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hi, Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. Step up your grilling game with our Solaire portable infrared grills. Our compact everywhere is a favorite of RVers and trailer pullers. Solaire infrared provides the quick sear for bar marks and texture needed to properly finish sous vide. Use a portable alongside your larger conventional grill to create an instant sear zone and more juicy and flavorful food. Learn more at BestHotGrill.com. Affordable, powerful, portable infrared grills at BestHotGrill.com.
Suggest. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A shot of cooler air drops us back to near normal today, from 72 yesterday to 55 for the high this afternoon. Meanwhile, turning windy out there. This west wind could gust up to 35 miles per hour at times today and tomorrow. Some clouds drifting through tonight as even colder air arrives, down to 34 degrees early Thursday morning with a high tomorrow of only 44. That'll be the coldest afternoon in St. Louis since March. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. With the average funeral bill being over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Call 314-866-8886 or memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you.
Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
I'm going to try to do my best Twilight Zone.
Oh, yeah?
Introduction. Imagine, if you will.
Imagine if you will.
A world where leftists get their way and get government control of our lives the way that they want.
Oh no!
I'm just letting that hang there for a second.
That's a dystopian nightmare if I ever heard one.
So I was sent a YouTube link. I sent that to you.
Yes.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's 4 or 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
I haven't had a chance to watch it
Yeah.
yet. I could just imagine though.
And it's what happens if the left gets their way.
10 years on.
Yep.
In the leftist dystopia.
10 years from today, if we just accept what they want, and it's not even just necessarily the rules, it's if we bow to the mindset and just accept and allow that to become the norm thinking.
You've just entered the twilight.
That's right. Interesting sort of campaign that the Alliance for Consumers has launched on this. And it's I'm sure there's more to it than that, but a lot of it is a thought exercise campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, think about if one particular extremist part of our body politic gets what they want, because so many parts of our culture want this. Powerful ones.
Yeah.
We're joined now by O.H. Skinner from the Alliance for Consumers, and you just launched this week, so this is like hot off the presses. O.H., appreciate you being on the show. But let's start with that premise. Just imagine what would happen, and the way that I read the video as I was kind of dissecting it and consuming it, and the stuff that your team sent to me, it's not even so much about all these big, bad environmental rules are bad. It's about what happens if we accept the thinking. Excuse me. Is that, I mean, am I close to what you want people to start considering?
Yeah, Mike, and you nailed it, right? So it's a 6-minute video, and we try to be not hyperbolic. We're just focusing on what California or other left-wing people want, which is, basically a lot of things happen to your daily life, and you wonder why things are a little bit worse, right? So like what we tried to think about is when you look at your dishwasher, when you look at your washing machine, your refrigerator, they're trying to mandate EVs, and you just think, why are all these things getting more expensive and worse? Why are they getting more expensive and worse? And so we packaged it into one kind of video about what 2035 will look like if California gets their way. And we try not to be hyperbolic, but it's things like you can't water your lawn. You can't use too much electricity because China built a coal, fired power plant. And so we got to keep emissions down. You saw it, you're not eating meat. you're not able to take a hot shower or have your kid take a hot shower, because at the end of the day, all of these various things that they're solving for aren't making your life better. It's all in furtherance of, to your point, these kind of like first principles things where they just want you to use less and less and less. In furtherance of some sort of like common good, right? And when you really connect it all together, you realize that all these things that are already happening to you on a daily basis that you're like, that's really annoying, are interconnected, and they're part of like a thinking, right? To your point, they're like, this is how they think. And it's this thing that you have to accept at a core concept. And when you do, it all falls apart.
Good morning, Gabe Pfeiffer here. So this may be more statement than question, but I've always found it difficult to get people who accept these ideas at face value, and they say, well, that sounds great, and to get them to think ahead, to get them to think these things through to their conclusion and what life would look like. So this sort of thing sounds like it'd be right up the alley of it. Somebody who's having those kind of conversations, but they just can't get their friend to really war game it and see what life really would look like on the other side.
That's a great example of the wargaming. I mean, so here's the thing we would say, right? Everybody wants clean air and clean water, right? Everybody does. You want that for your kids. You want that for your family. That's not what these people are solving for, right? So a lot of what's focused on the video is on focusing on what does it mean to actually live that net zero life, right? We hear this all the time, like net zero by 2030, net zero by 2040. Net zero means no new emissions, right? The gas stations, they're gone. Using electricity at your home is a really hard thing. So we really wanted to focus on, to your point, the wargaming of like, you can believe that we should have clean air, clean water, but your dishwasher is getting worse, not because of the water and electricity. Like, it's already super efficient, right? They're just trying to get it to the point where it can be net zero, right? You've seen all these, stories in, articles in the New York Times and other places that say how great life is without air conditioning. That's not an accident, right? Because at some fundamental level, they need us to stop using it. So the wargaming is super important, because you can say, I believe in the climate, or I believe, there's a lot of ways to think about this. But the people who say those things rarely are playing the tape all the way to the end, right?
Mhm.
If you're totally committed to net zero, you're getting rid of your dishwasher, you're getting rid of your air conditioner, you're getting rid of your gas-powered car. They're all gone. And so this is us helping them war game that out and helping you as a normal person kind of like educate some people in your life that like this is the reality. And that's cool if that's what you want, right? This is another thing we want to say. If you want to live in Marin, California and not have air conditioning and drive an electric car and not use a dishwasher, fine. Like I guess that's good for you, as my wife would say. But that's not how everybody should be living, right? Like one of the crucial things that we talk about is, they're trying to make more, like the favorite example is they're trying to make all your refrigerators more expensive and do a less good job.
Mhm.
And then they'll say, but don't worry, we're not banning anything. Well, what they have in mind is like Nancy Pelosi will always be able to buy a $15,000 refrigerator, right? The real question is if you live in Plano, Texas, and you have 4 kids, are you always going to be able to afford a car that carries your family? Because the people in Marin, California don't necessarily like even think about you as like a normal lifestyle that they need to support. So I like this idea of wargaming. It's a really important way to think about it, mostly from the perspective of thinking about what are the consequences of the things that are being pressed on you.
Good morning, AOH. Stel Ponticus here. I'm curious about your thoughts regarding some of the Trump nominations like Lee Zeldin for the EPA and Chris Wright for energy and Doug Burgum for the interior. What are your thoughts about those individuals?
I mean, I think that if there's any candidate who has embraced the idea of like, why are they trying to take away your dishwasher? Why are they trying to make your life worse? It's President Trump, right? He's really speaking to an everyday person who thinks like, why is my life being made worse? And I think Doug Burgum and a lot of these nominees are great, but it's crucial that they all kind of activate that, what you saw on the campaign trail from President Trump and what you saw from people who were voting with their feet saying, I don't want all this stuff forced upon me. So, you hope that these people are very responsive because a lot of them have been politicians. And there's something really refreshing about people who are politicians where like they have to listen to voters and they have to listen to people, right? They can't just lecture people. So we're really, really hopeful. But I think, to your point, it's you got to play the tape all the way to the end. And one of the things that we're trying to highlight by dropping this video now is the left has been pushing this in every single place in your life. And so we're going to have to, the Trump administration and people are going to have to push back on every little thing. It's not just your dishwasher, man. It's not just your car. The car bans and the EV mandates and the dishwasher rules, they're all part of the same campaign. So we have to make it we have to understand it like that and push back because it's all related and it's all intentional.
We are visiting with O.H. Skinner from the Alliance for Consumers. I've just got a minute or so left here, O.H. One of the things I think I liked about the video itself, which we've just posted, is that you're taking the conceptual, because it's one thing for pundits and activist groups to say, if this, then that. And it's very ethereal, and we don't think of it in terms of real life. And what you've done is you've dramatized it. One of the scenes that probably is going to surprise you that kind of jumped out to me is the kid asks his dad, hey, can we go see grandma? Can we go travel to see grandma for Christmas or birthday or whatever it was? And he goes, well, we may have to just FaceTime her. And the kid's like, oh, okay. Well, in the real world, that kid's really upset because he can't go see grandma and he doesn't question it. And what I saw was this is what happens if we end up accepting their claims as normal, as real. We have to bow our thinking to that. And that, I thought, dramatized that in a really good way, that it's not just about the emissions or the airplane or whatever. This is about what you're being told to give up in your life and in your family in the name of what they call the climate greater good. So kudos to you all for doing that. I thought that was standout writing that you all put in there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about crushing these things that we consider everyday parts of our lives, right? I'm glad you picked that up. It's like, it's not just about the emissions. It's about destroying the things that are the bedrock of our culture and our families, and in a way that is deeply sad. So I hope that people see it as a wake up call. The video is available for free at preparefor2035.com, and Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you got it, OH. Nice job with the video. These are the type of things that, the more conservative freedom movement, free market types need to be doing more, is to say, this is what it looks like in your life, not a chart or a graph.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like to your actual life. So good job on that. And once again, go ahead and give out that website one more time, if you would.
It's preparefor2035.com. And yeah, I agree with you. People need to know what the left is selling.
Yep, absolutely. All right. We'll talk to you again soon, OH. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right. And also on Rumble here, it was Vicky says, rules for thee and not for me.
That's right.
Yes. Matter of fact, that's in the video.
Mm-hmm.
That point that you just made there, Vicky, that is absolutely put in the video as well, which I just posted that on the Rumble chat box.
Yes. It's on Twitter also,
Okay,
but I can throw it on Facebook.
Yeah, let's do that, Joe. So if you want to check that out, and we'll tag Alliance for Consumers as well. Really, really clever right there. All right, just ahead here, what do we got here? Oh, AJ. Remember AJ McCarron?
Oh, yeah.
He's mad.
What happened?
We fired him.
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's going on here around 7:20.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
What are you waiting for? Get up, get up, get up.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
What's up with Jack Smith's latest Trump report? Zach Smith of Heritage at 4:20. At 5:20, Terry Schilling, why cultural extremism cost Dems the election.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
We talked a little bit earlier about, your housing and, why the cost of housing is going up so much and the changing market and each different part of the area. And listen, these are all complexities that you've got to consider when you're buying or you're selling or your home or you're getting ready to invest in a home or rental property or anything like that. And it's all complex. It can be very intimidating, which is why you've got to have Rodney and Jen on your side. Mike Ferguson here for the Walner home selling team with Berkshire Hathaway. A lot of people get sort of into that paralysis by analysis part, even on big decisions, regardless of what the market does. This may be the time to sell your home and move somewhere else. This may be the time to buy your home and move out of that rental property. And this may be the time to buy that Airbnb investment. Maybe this is the time to do it. But you look at all the confusion that's going on and you need somebody to guide you and empower you. And that's exactly what Rodney and Jen do. Give them a call today, 314-810-SOLD. Tell them, say, hey, Mike was talking about you guys on the radio. Here's my situation. Just get their first impression. Talk to them for a few minutes. You're going to be as impressed with them as I am every time I talk to them. 314-810-SOLD. You don't have to have a contract with them. You don't have to come into the office. They're not going to put that kind of pressure on you. Just say, Mike was talking about you. Here's my situation. Here's what I'm thinking about doing. Tell me what you think. And let me tell you something. You're going to find that they are ethical. They put you first, and their entire modus operandi, their entire MO is to empower the people they serve to get the best dollar for dollar deal. As a matter of fact, you're saying, you know what? I think it's time to sell this house. Call them now. 314-810-SOLD. They have so many pre-approved buyers, you probably won't even need to list it. And they are there to get you the best deal. So once again, call Rodney and Jen. You're going to be impressed with them as professionals. You're going to be impressed with them as experts, and you're going to be impressed with them as people because they have built a very successful business one way, doing the job right, being ethical, putting the people they serve first. By the way, they are licensed in Illinois and in Missouri. So regardless of where you want to go, they are there to help. But that's my challenge. Put them to the test yourself. Give them a call, 314-810-SOLD. And find out what they can do for you. And I am telling you, you're going to be impressed, and it's going to be really comforting to know that you've got somebody who is navigating you through and empowering you to take care of your family financially in these crazy times. Once again, 314-810-SOLD.
You know, when you're car shopping, it should be fun, not a chore. That's why when you visit Ackerman Toyota on Hampton, just south of 44, you'll enjoy the largest customer lounge to make you feel at home. You can always check AckermanToyota.com, but come enjoy the Ackerman hospitality. We'll be waiting to help you get what you want. and while you're relaxing. Ackerman Toyota, #1 in 2023. Ackerman Toyota, for life.
Hey, it's Vic. Are you worried about rising taxes? Well, you're not alone. With government spending outpacing revenue, many Americans fear a tax hike is on the horizon. But here's the good news. You have options. Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management specializes in tax-efficient strategies for income planning, legacy, and growth. Chris knows your money will go to one of three places: the government, healthcare, or your family and charities. Shouldn't your loved ones come first? Don't let Uncle Sam be your biggest beneficiary. Take control of your financial future today. Visit serenitynowtax.com for your free copy of Chris's book, The New Holistic Retirement. Serenity Wealth Management, because you deserve peace of mind in retirement. Request your free book today at serenitynowtax.com. That's serenitynowtax.com to get your free copy of The New Holistic Retirement. That's serenitynowtax.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors. 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL, live and local.
Listen to what those local folks are telling you.
News Talk STL.
Danny Define here with the Next Gen, all new time this Sunday at 8 p.m. Now pour up a hot cup of coffee and tune back into the Mike Ferguson Show.
All right, Donald Trump announces more of his choices for his administration, the incoming administration, and yes, two of them are celebrity names. So we'll get to that here in a minute. Also, we've got Larry Connor's commentary coming your way here in about 10 minutes. I know it involves Joe Scarborough, it involves Mika, and it involves Hogan's Heroes.
And Hogan's Heroes.
And you say, Mike, what's that all about? I don't know, but you're going to find out right around 7:30.
I see nothing.
Just saying. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Okay, real quick here. Donald Trump, because I haven't done the update yet here. Donald Trump announces a few more names for his incoming administration. Let's see here. Linda McMahon is going to be the cabinet member for the Department of Education. Linda McMahon, as in Vince McMahon's wife from the WWF.
I was going to say, wait, is it the McMahon that I'm thinking of?
The McMahon. Now, keep in mind that under his first administration, she was I think the title is director of the Small Business Administration.
Right.
So she actually has very high-level government experience in administration, and I have not found any big claims that she didn't do a good job.
Right.
Now, as much as we can have fun with professional wrestling, and she was a character on their storylines for years there. Couple things on this. One, that is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Yes.
That they built up. Well, they bought Vince McMahon's dad's business and then built it way up.
Right.
So my two thoughts on this. One, if Linda McMahon can be married to Vince McMahon and survive that, she's pretty tough.
She's a tough
because
lady.
he's pretty much an awful human being.
Yeah.
And secondly, what I really hope will be her goal is to manage the process of putting herself out of a job.
Yes.
Donald Trump has said we need to get rid of the Department of Education. Donald Trump is right about that.
Absolutely so.
Matter of fact, we just talked to Corey DeAngelis earlier this week about that. So if you go to the either the News Talk STL podcast, or you can go to my American Viewpoints podcast, there are versions of that discussion on both of those. You can hear that discussion. So my hope is that Linda McMahon gets in there and understands the marching orders are an orderly dissolution of this entire cabinet level position.
I would love that. That's my dream. That's my dream of what would happen in the next couple of years here.
Right.
So I'm hoping. I got my fingers crossed. I mean, if she seems very capable. I mean,
I think she is.
You know, so yeah.
I mean, that's one of those where, I don't have any issue with this. You know, somebody goes, we need an expert in education. We need a PhD in education who's run school districts. There's been a state. No, that's the last person you need.
Yeah.
Because that person will inherently, even if they are conservative, they will want to protect the system and say, well, we need to make the system ours.
Right.
Get rid of the federal system.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
be done with it.
And besides, she can put someone in a headlock.
That's true.
That's
true.
We've seen her do it.
That's true. It's happened. Precisely.
Actually, So can Donald Trump.
Well, he made some appearances on there.
He made some
back in the
appearances in
day.
pro wrestling. Yeah,
You're right.
He's actually been in the ring. So
Yeah, I don't think he fought anybody or anything like that. But
no. I think he made a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Well, no. I think he threw one haymaker on somebody.
Oh, did
I think he did. I'm gonna have to look that up now. I'm so.
Riz,
lovely.
okay. Rizon says he had a match with Vince McMahon where the loser had their head shaved. Vince lost, of course.
Oh, I did see that a few days ago. That's
Okay,
right.
see, I watched wrestling when I was a kid, and then I sort of like. Do you remember Nick Aldis was on the show with us a couple times at the time? Now he's I guess, a big character in or I guess it's WWE. But he was the National Wrestling Alliance World Champion at the time he was on with us. And I don't remember if he said this on the air or whether I was talking to him on the phone. And he goes, Mike, you're a lapsed fan. We can win you back. Because I was a kid and I used to go around and go to the territory shows and all that and watch it on TV. So I didn't realize that Donald Trump had a match. Oh, that's hysterical.
They said they sat Vince down in the middle of the ring and tied him to a chair and shaved all his hair off.
My goodness.
Okay,
Wow.
so
Yeah,
I'm
Trump was walking around behind him.
I'm
just
watching Trump run at McMahon, both of them in these tailored suits. He clotheslines him down to the ground, ground and pound on him, right? and then he walks away. Just
that's hysterical.
Okay, gets in the ring.
Oh
man, the swagger this man has as he gets into the ring. They're arguing. Oh yeah, and like Estelle said, it ends with ends with somebody
so
getting
funny.
his head. It's
Okay,
pretty awesome.
so let me grab another appointment here. Dr. Oz. Of course, he was the handpicked candidate that Trump had for Pennsylvania a couple years ago. He lost to John Fetterman. He has been picked to let's see here, somewhere in the health. He is going to be the administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is under the Department of Health and Human Services.
So he'd be working with RFK Jr.
He would be reporting to him.
Okay.
Yes. So that's where he is. I don't know what Dr. Oz's administrative qualifications are, but I guess we're about to find out. And then he made a pick for, it's kind of funny because he made his pick for the Department of Commerce. And like, that's one of the most important, influential, and everybody's like, yeah, whatever. Linda McMahon and Dr. Oz. Oh yeah. The guy who's running, who's going to run. Yeah. He's going to be the Department of Commerce, but Dr. Oz and Linda McMahon. So there.
So
Okay.
Lutnick has such an interesting story with Cantor Fitzgerald, and he had that child care issue on 9/11, so he did not go into the office. Their offices were on the top floor of the World Trade Center.
Really? Oh,
and
I didn't
so
know that.
he was not there that day as hundreds of his employees were killed.
Oh my gosh.
And so over the last 20 some years, they have gone way out of their way to provide financial stability for those families.
Wow.
And reestablish Cantor Fitzgerald as a brokerage firm.
From 9. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I had no idea. All right, real quick here, because we just got a minute or so, and then we're going to find out what Joe Mika has to do with Hogan's Heroes from Larry Connor here. There was a press conference called like Friday, and I got a note because I'm on the list for the Battlehawks, because we do stuff with the Battlehawks here. And it was like, hey, press conference with Coach Beck.
Yeah.
I saw it. And I'm like, I'm starting my weekend. I'm like, if it's anything, I'll get.
Tell me.
They cut AJ McCarron.
I can't believe that.
They let him go.
My gosh.
It's such a weird
I have
decision to make.
no idea what happened. I don't know why, but we know that AJ McCarron not happy about it.
Well, yeah.
And I
absolutely.
don't know why. I mean, even though the Battlehawks did not win the UFL championship, it's pretty obvious AJ McCarron is the best quarterback in the league.
Man, he put his career on the line to be here.
He left the NFL to come back to St. Louis.
Right.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know why, but he's now basically going to be either traded or I don't know how it works. Because right now in the UFL, it's not like the NFL where you can become a free agent and go wherever you want. I think that the team has the rights to him, so they're going to trade him or whatever the case is.
Right.
Because all the teams are owned by the league.
Yeah.
And so AJ McCarron was on a podcast. He was on a sports podcast. He did say some really nice things about the fans of St. Louis. So he is not mad at us, but he's mad at us, as in Battlehawks Nation.
Yeah.
So he was very complimentary to the fans, gave the fans the due. So don't be mad when he comes to play against us. Don't boo him.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, I want to put it on the Battlehawks in the dome twice a year.
Oh man.
So he's really upset with what
Yeah.
happened out there. I don't know that you and AJ McCarron really manage him.
Seriously, what are we doing here?
Oh man. So I don't know who our quarterback's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm still a Battlehawks guy. I'm still Battlehawks
Well, sure,
guy.
yeah,
Don't get me
obviously,
wrong.
yeah.
It's my team. I think Coach Beck's the right guy.
Mhm.
And I like Coach Beck.
Questioning this decision though.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the coaches or if it was up the line.
Front
I don't
office,
know
yeah.
where. I don't know. But I know that AJ's now got it out for the Battlehawks.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A shot of cooler air drops us back to near normal today, from 72 yesterday to 55 for the high this afternoon. Meanwhile, turning windy out there. This west wind could gust up to 35 miles per hour at times today and tomorrow. Some clouds drifting through tonight as even colder air arrives, down to 34 degrees early Thursday morning with a high tomorrow of only 44. That'll be the coldest afternoon in St. Louis since March. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
I can tell you how to get a free quick quiz to see how artificial intelligence can boost your company's potential. You go to priglobal.ai, priglobal.ai. St. Louis Business Magazine listing PRI as one of the leading IT companies, and PRI has its own AI lab to develop what your business needs. priglobal.ai, priglobal.ai.
Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit vincentsjewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
The rats are jumping ship. I'm talking about the leftists who use their position in the Biden administration to target conservative Americans, especially Christian Americans. Now, the fact is, when Trump comes in, they are going to be kicked overboard anyway. But the Project on Government Oversight reports inspectors generals for the CIA and National Intel have already jumped. Some of those leaving will find land, jobs, maybe a network analyst. Others will be left floundering on the verge of drowning. And even those who make it to land might have to find a lawyer. Multiple former and current DOJ and FBI members told NBC News they fear they will be criminally investigated. That's a legitimate fear. Then you have the unelected, unappointed bureaucrats who help weaponize the government against you. They will be targeted. Now, some of them might believe they will be safe. But like Sergeant Schultz on the 1960s sitcom Hogan's Heroes, I saw nothing. I was only following orders. Get ready to testify.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Craving the most delicious pizza in town? Head to Monocle's on Highway K in the heart of O'Fallon. From thin crust to pan pizza, gluten-free options, and every topping imaginable. Monocle's, as you covered. Indulge in mouth-watering calzones, party-sized salads, and our famous sweet and tart dressing. Family-owned and locally operated, Monocle's serves up love and care with every bite. Dine in or carry out, and don't forget to try our banana-licious monkey bread for dessert. Order online at monocles.com or stop in today and tell them News Talk STL sent you.
Your heating system isn't getting any younger, and waiting might cost you big. Katie here at Elite Comfort Experts. With new government mandates and 2025 manufacturer price hikes, delaying a replacement means paying more. But here's the good news. You can save now with tax credits, utility rebates, and easy financing. No gimmicks, just guarantees. Don't wait for your old furnace to quit for good. Call Elite Comfort Experts today and replace your system before prices go up. Call Elite at 636-887-0971.
The Republican Party of the City of St. Louis wishes you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, no matter how you celebrate the season. Join the City of St. Louis Republicans for their annual holiday party, December 18th at PH Rose. There'll be a silent auction, raffle, and plenty of holiday cheer. Go to stl-gop.com to get your tickets and learn more. The City of St. Louis Republicans wish you a joyous holiday season and a prosperous new year.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC, Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the News Talk STL app.
Love the News Talk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
Hi, it's Vic Porcelli.
And Ken.
Hi, Ken. Hey, Vic. Ken and I are on every Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, right here on News Talk STL. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh, my morning people.
What is it about like pro wrestling nostalgia that just I am convinced that in America everybody is at least 0.01% wrestling fan or has been in the past.
Yes. I think that's right.
That probably is true.
I think that's true.
And men and women, both.
Yeah.
I mean, Kathy tells me stories of when she was a kid, she'd be watching wrestling at the Chase.
Right.
And I can remember growing up in Chicago, seeing Dick the Bruiser and some of those other guys in Chicago.
Yeah.
Boy.
Well, basically, wrestling is male soap opera.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
That's right.
It's a male soap opera because there are storylines, there are characters, they have interpersonal conflicts. All that film in the locker room. That's the storyline.
That's right. That is.
And then it's punctuated with the fights. I mean, in the soap opera version, there'd be an argument at a restaurant.
Yeah, that's right. On Law and Order SVU, it ends in the courtroom.
It ends in the courtroom, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
And then we have Donald Trump. Turns out beating up Vince McMahon.
Yep.
At WrestleMania.
Yep.
There it is. All right. It is
Battle of the
7:37 right now. It's kind of funny. There was a, and this is one of our kind of like industry, radio research groups surveyed Americans to see if they're planning on doing more good deeds this time of year.
Oh, okay.
The short answer is yes. 43% of Americans say they're going to do more good deeds now to make up for how we acted the rest of the year.
Okay, see, I believe that. I believe like a lot of times some of these surveys and things like that. I'm skeptical. It's like, are people answering these things truthfully? I believe that absolutely.
Yeah.
But people are saying, you know what? I've been an a-hole the entire other 10, 11 months of the year. Like, let me do something.
Okay,
about that.
so what would be the good deeds? I'm going to put the question out there, everybody. Either call me at 314-912-1019, or I understand the reality of it now. Send me a note on social media. We want to talk to you all. But anyway,
call us.
It's a talk show. Or send us, what are the good deeds that you would do to kind of make up for being an a-hole
right
the rest of the year? But yeah, 43% of Americans say they are actively doing more good deeds, specifically now through the end of this year, to make up for the rest of the year. And there's a lot of like volunteering and donating and things like that. The sentiment is more pronounced with younger generations. Almost 60% of Gen Z and millennials say that they are consciously trying to do more good things.
I think because a larger percentage of them are a-holes. I'm sorry.
You're not sorry.
Actually, you're right. I'm not sorry.
Oh man.
I mean now to actually have a serious discussion about it. I think there is a level to the religiosity, the reduced religiosity of Gen Z versus the previous generations means that they are less inclined to have that sort of generous spirit that goes along with religiosity. I mean, because all the studies show that basically the more of a churchgoer you are, the more likely you are to donate to charities, even beyond your own church. To volunteer, in terms of number of hours served and things like that. So as the generations have grown less and less religious, they've had less and less. I'll say it this way: they've had less and less opportunity to really exercise that aspect of their being. And, being the tree hugging world lovers that they are, they're like, well, I have to be important to the world. I have to change the world for the better. And then they realize somewhere along the way at the end of the year, when they look back and they reflect, and they think about what Santa's going to bring them, they say, oh no, I might get cold.
Well, no, we can't have that. It has to be solar.
It has to be solar power.
Okay, so
I want a solar cell.
Now, keep in mind that the phrasing of the question between now and the end of the year: do more or do good deeds to make up for. So 59% say they are going to do more good.
Right.
37% of Gen Xers and Boomers say they're going to do more good.
Okay.
Towards the end of the year. Now that could be we just don't care and we're not going to stop being a-holes, or we've been doing things all year long.
True. There is a little bit of that there.
Yeah.
And of course, there's just a natural inclination to do so because the holidays tend to be one of the most depressing times of the year for people who are in really bad situations. So there's the need is greater.
I mean, and when you say that, which is so true, because you can talk a lot about people who are single, live alone, older, infirmed, whatever. But it's hard for a lot of people. I got to tell you, I will just say it, here in front of everybody. There were years post-divorce, single parent. There were years where I dreaded the holidays. Hated it.
Absolutely.
It was truly the loneliest time of the year. There were years where I had a good job and it wasn't a matter of money. There were other times I was working 3 jobs just to keep my kids fed. I mean, I've been there and I just hated the holidays. And I'm still not a big holiday guy, as you guys know.
Yeah. You're still the bah humbug man.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. But the younger generation says that they have done more for charity this year compared to other years as well. 1 out of 5 give themselves an A for the good deeds they've done compared to 10% of everybody else. Now that could be an expectations measurement too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I mean, a Gen Zer, I'm going to stereotype a little bit.
Yes.
Them doing one thing, handing, I don't know, a change in a thing for March of Dimes or whatever. That may be a bigger deal to them than what the rest of us.
Hashtag love everybody.
That's right. Definitely put a hashtag. So the average person says that they're going to spend 8 hours per week on pursuits of good now through the end of the year. All right. But I can help you though.
Okay.
I've got some suggestions for good deeds you can do.
All right.
It's true. For instance, open the door for somebody who's trapped in a burning Tesla.
Oh no. Not the Tesla on fire.
Just saying, you can be polite. Open the door.
It's never going to go out.
That's a good deal. Hug a Cowboys fan. Chris Arps,
because they need the love.
Chris Arps, yeah,
they're having a tough
hug
time.
They're having a bad time.
They lost 6 in a row or something.
Yeah. So give them a hug.
Yeah.
Just love on them.
All right.
So Chris Arps, we're with you, man.
Yep.
Right here. With you, man.
You're right here in my heart, man.
You can start or donate to a GoFundMe for those who are dealing with crushing debt, like obviously the Harris campaign at this point.
Yeah, $20 million.
Yeah, precisely. So you can there's that. How about this? Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. Give your spouse that thing they really want, but they are too scared to ask you for.
Okay.
Space.
It's like you're just can you just leave me alone for 5 minutes?
Right. Yeah. Stay away from me.
Speaking of that, if you want to do another good deed, here's one that's been suggested: is distract Elon Musk long enough for Trump to take a bathroom break. I mean, seriously, Elon's getting pretty clingy. I mean, if you've noticed, you see Donald, you see Elon.
They're always together.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
So just distract him for a minute.
Elon, don't take the urinal next to me.
Just let him breathe. He just won an election. He just needs a breather, Elon.
That's a real bromance going on there.
Yeah, that's it. It is.
He is on the spectrum, so he doesn't quite get some of the social cues.
Yeah,
it's true.
Some other ones here that were on the list of the easy good deeds you can make up for being a jerk the rest of the year. Let's see here. Mentor a teen. No. Well, Matt Gaetz, that's not for you.
Oh no!
Just it's like everybody else. Just don't misread that. That's all I'm saying. Just pointing that out.
If you're in government,
That's right.
Don't mentor any teens.
Let's see here. Check in on an elderly person who is too frail to get around on their own. So somebody check in on Joe Biden.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't wander off into the forest again.
Wellness check.
The palm trees.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Why did they plan his exits like that? To make him look
I don't
like
think
he's going
they
up?
planned that. He just wandered like we're like, no, Mr. President, don't wander off into the Amazon.
They need somebody on stage like to his right, like the legal eagle that Donald Trump has. Just somebody right there, and he can just direct him. It's like, this way, Mr. President.
We got to do a team picture. Could you please?
Yes, team picture over this way.
Move back over here.
Yes,
or somebody in the back with a cue card with an arrow.
Well,
go left.
Remember, this was also the president that at one point the Easter Bunny had to go get him and direct him to go somewhere.
Yeah. That's right. Because he was trying to go over and mentor the teens.
Yeah.
We don't.
And the Easter Bunny was in character telling the president of the United States where to go.
Mr. President,
that really happened.
Leave the children alone. And go that way.
All right. Also, the last one here. Try to comfort your dad as he struggles to get through an episode of Yellowstone now that it does not have Kevin Costner.
Seriously. What the heck?
He's hurting. I'm just saying.
Blues Nut has a suggestion.
Yeah.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy is in fact a good deed. I have a feeling Blues Nut might be a cowboy.
Uh-huh.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Something there I can't believe in. Voices are calling from inside my head. I can hear them. Vanishing memories of things that were said. They can't try to hurt me now. But a shot in the dark. One step away from you. Just a shot in the dark.
Ready to soar beyond your limits? The U.S. Air Force and Space Force offer more than just a job. It's a launch pad for your future. With over 200 career paths, competitive pay, benefits, free education, 30 days paid vacation, and a chance to travel the globe, all while serving your country with pride. Your journey starts here. Call Jeremy Jefferson in St. Louis at 314-295-6834 or visit airforce.com and spaceforce.com today.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com.
Hi, this is Mark McCloskey. Check out my show, Mark McCloskey on Fire, Sunday afternoon at 5 here on News Talk STL. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right. 8:05. Okay. We've got this whole thing with Nancy Mace now standing in the gap over the whole men pretending to be women thing. And part of me, guys, part of me says we have debated this issue ad nauseum. I don't think anybody's going to change their mind on this, but now we've got a new level of this because there's now one of these perverts elected to Congress.
Yeah.
And Nancy Mace is saying, I go into the bathroom, dude, you're not going to be in there with me.
Right. The hill she will absolutely die. And I love it.
Right.
I love the conviction. I'm glad that, we finally, found an issue where we have a Republican to man up, so to speak.
Ironically.
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
And grow a spine and actually do something. And now, of course, this is very personal for her. So
Right.
I really appreciate that she's doing this. But I'm curious to see what the rest of the Republicans are doing.
Right. So 8:05, let's go into more depth on that.
Yeah.
Get me your thoughts on this, because we have been basically berated by everything from the public education system to higher education to media to everybody else. We have been basically browbeaten for years now to just accept that we must kowtow to this fringe subset of people.
Yeah, it's a matter of respect. Just be
Yeah.
polite. Just say the pronouns.
Right. So, and we have been warning, and I say we're talking about conservative media, not just News Talk STL, but conservative media across the country, has been saying this is where this is going to lead. And voters pushed back in a big way. And this was one, not the main, but one of the issues that I think contributed to the results. And so at the moment, Republicans are feeling very stiff-backed.
Yes.
On this.
Yes.
So we'll see whether that continues. All right. So 8:05. Let's have that conversation, because Nancy Mace is not pulling any punches at all.
Not at all.
Let's see here. Believe it or not, Thanksgiving's a week from tomorrow.
It's wild.
This is going to be one of those. This may be the first one. I don't think that Rachel and I have even begun to plan a big Thanksgiving meal.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter might come by, assuming she's not going somewhere. But we're not traveling, and there's no plans for anybody to come travel to our house. I think we literally might be having spaghetti or steak or something. I think this might be the first time.
That's just the most Thanksgiving meal ever kind of thing.
And ironically, I will be thankful for that because obviously love the traditional meal.
Sure.
And every year since we've been married, we have done that either at my folks' house or my brother's house, or more often than not our house. That's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of work that goes into that. And I mean, I don't know about everybody else's, but in my family, this is like the women do that meal prep.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, when us guys say, can we help with something? They'll give us a little token task that we can't mess up.
Yeah.
But basically,
here, put the salad, take the salad out of this bag and put it in this bowl.
Exactly. But the vibe is, do not mess this up. Get away.
Right.
We're having girl time.
Yes.
Leave us alone.
Yes.
We're doing this.
That tends to be the thing in my
So
extended family in particular.
But you're traveling over Thanksgiving, right?
Yes. So we're
New York?
heading out. Yep. Heading out to the East Coast, New York, New Jersey area.
Okay, so AAA says that they are expecting a record number of Americans to be traveling for Thanksgiving.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Now tell me, hopefully, that the record is going to be set by air travel and not on the road.
This is overall.
Okay.
Let's see here. About 80 million people are going to be traveling this year. That is up from 78 million last year. Of those 78 million, 72 million will be driving.
All 72 million will be on the highway you're on, Gabe.
Yep.
Oh, no.
5.8 million are going to be flying.
Oh, no.
2.3 million will be doing, trains, Amtrak's, whatever the case is. So basically consider a canoe or something like that.
Now, well, hopefully, since I'm leaving early, I'm going.
When are you leaving?
Saturday.
Oh, this coming Saturday?
Yep.
You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because here's what they say. They say the worst travel days are going to be next Tuesday and Wednesday, as in a week from yesterday and today. Those are going to be the worst days to travel.
All right.
And then obviously the worst days to come back home. When do you know when that is?
Sunday.
That's the worst day to come home.
That's when we're coming home.
Yep. Sunday, December 1st between noon and 6 p.m. and Monday, December 2nd between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Because Monday is going to be a little particularly rough as well, because obviously you have a lot of people going back to work as well. So you're good going out, but you may want to get up a little bit early heading back.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yikes.
What's funny is what the best day to drive is.
What's that?
Actually, Thanksgiving.
Oh, Thanksgiving.
On that
Thanksgiving
day.
On
yes.
Thanksgiving
That's
Day.
True. That's true. That makes sense.
That is actually the best day to do it.
Because if you've ever had to run out to the grocery store or the convenience store that's still going to be open on Thanksgiving morning because you forgot the extra, the can of cranberry sauce, the jelly or something like that, there's nobody
there. Yeah.
Nobody.
Because they plan better than you did.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right.
And it's the same for Christmas, I think. Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah,
I can vouch for
Day.
Christmas because that's the only time I got a speeding ticket.
Because you were the only one on the road.
I was the only one on the road driving to Hannibal.
You.
And he still gave you a ticket on Christmas?
He did.
How fast were you going?
I was going about 85 and 70, I believe, and he tailed me for 10 miles.
So you never slowed down the entire time?
Did not even know that he was behind me.
You're like, officer, I'm trying to get away from these deer.
You know what's funny is he probably did it because he was bored.
Yeah,
could have been.
He's working Christmas Day and there's nobody on the road.
He's bored and he's mad.
He's like, I'm out here on Christmas Day. There's nobody out here. Why did we just let this? No, I'm out here. Hey, look at this guy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna follow this guy.
Because if he was working Christmas Day, he's the low man on totem pole at the police department.
Yes,
and I just put two and two together because I was driving a red-colored vehicle when the deer hit me last week, and I was also driving a red-colored vehicle when I got the ticket going to Hannibal.
Yes, see, red is it's the danger color, man.
Right. You're right.
I mean, as much as we love it on our sports cars and trucks and whatnot, it's a danger color.
They're a magnet.
There's like all these claims that if you're driving a red car, that you're more likely to get a ticket. I don't know if that's true. I know that's an urban legend, but I don't know if it's actually true or not.
I bet it is.
Yeah, it could be.
I wouldn't put it past.
By the way, when it comes to the meals, Lunch Lady says I had barbecue pork steaks last year for Christmas. So basically we're going to Lunch Lady's house. Yeah, for that's 101 straight up says remembers having chili for Christmas dinner.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I love chili.
I'm good with that.
It's a good winter meal too.
Yeah.
By the way, Christmas is only 5 weeks away. It's coming fast, isn't it?
Man. I have mixed feelings about that.
There's always Walgreens. That's why God created Walgreens.
I actually have been the guy doing that before. Most often, though, on Valentine's Day, because I'm that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. I'm still married.
Here's my problem.
Completely agree with your sentiments.
He talks about we're divided. Well, yeah, we are. And we need to wake up as a country and realize what's going on.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Tim Jones here. For lunchtime, Capriotti's cannot be beat, and I love the grilled chicken parmesan at Capriotti's. I love Capriotti's, and you will too.
Open 9 to 9 daily on Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Transform your space with JML Interior Design in Clayton. For 32 years, local woman business owner Jeannie Lashmet has been creating stunning interiors that reflect your vision. From residential to commercial, kitchens to corporate spaces, JML Interior Design brings expertise to every project. Planning a home remodel, tackling new construction, or the expert commercial interior space planning service. Jeannie and her team deliver great designs that work. Call 314-453-4233 or visit jmlinteriors.net. JML Interior Design. We just don't dream it, we do it.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio 3 times every week yet on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
From townhall.com, I'm Rich Thomason. A monster of a storm is beating up on the Pacific Northwest.
A bomb cyclone hitting the Pacific coast from Northern California up to British Columbia has left hundreds of thousands of people without power. Authorities are asking residents to stay off the roads after gale-force winds downed trees and power lines. In Issaquah, east of Seattle, Como News talked with Wendy Harrington after a cedar tree fell on her house.
It felt explosive, or like there was a bomb going off, breaking glass, the sound of breaking glass. Everything was just very loud. I thought the whole wall was coming down.
In Linwood, Washington, South County Fire reports a woman in her 50s died when a large tree fell on a homeless encampment. I'm Jennifer King.
Given her background in education at the state level, President-elect Trump has chosen former WWE executive Linda McMahon to serve as education secretary. Pulling a 180, President Biden approving sending anti-personnel landmines to Ukraine for deployment against Russian troops.
This is a decision to allow Ukraine to use landmines, which are described by the Pentagon and by the White House as of the non-persistent type, which means we're told they will essentially self-destruct within a matter of hours or days because they are battery powered, and when the battery runs out, then those mines no longer function. But of course it is controversial. More than 150, I think, countries have signed up to a treaty banning the use of landmines. The US is not party to that treaty. I understand that Ukraine has agreed not to use these mines in densely populated areas and also to use it within Ukrainian territory.
The BBC's Sarah Rainsford. Ford will cut 4,000 jobs in Europe and the UK. The automaker cites disruption from the shift to electric vehicles combined with stiff economic headwinds. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures 92 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Anyone with everyday aches and pains, I've got a question. What are you missing out on? Probably a lot. So let me tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In about 3 weeks, you'll discover what it's like to feel better. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4RELIEF.
Hi, Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. Step up your grilling game with our Solaire portable infrared grills. Our compact everywhere is a favorite of RVers and trailer pullers. Solaire infrared provides the quick sear for bar marks and texture needed to properly finish sous vide. Use a portable alongside your larger conventional grill to create an instant sear zone and more juicy and flavorful food. Learn more at BestHotGrill.com. Affordable, powerful, portable infrared grills at BestHotGrill.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A shot of cooler air drops us back to near normal today, from 72 yesterday to 55 for the high this afternoon. Meanwhile, turning windy out there. This west wind could gust up to 35 miles per hour at times today and tomorrow. Some clouds drifting through tonight as even colder air arrives, down to 34 degrees early Thursday morning with a high tomorrow of only 44. That'll be the coldest afternoon in St. Louis since March. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
This hour of News Talk STL, brought to you by Jewels on Hampton, paying some of the highest prices for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Call 314-752-5000 or visit jewelsonhampton.com.
Tim Jones here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers. Eric, we often talk about the Newstetter's difference that folks feel right when they walk into the front door of the store.
Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is truly where honesty and integrity meet. We're all about quality at a fair price. Our goal is to guarantee that the gift you give will be loved for a lifetime. Come in and meet our professional staff that will put your needs above all else.
Experience that fantastic Newstetter's difference today at wowdiamonds.com. Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michaels Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michaels Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michaels Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Mike Ferguson
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Gabe Pfeiffer.
There's something serious I have to tell you about the future.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm. Get up, St. Louis.
Will you guys knock it off?
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
Okay, so in politics, what's old is new again. We've got the battle over the gender confusion at the U.S. Capitol, but it's gotten very, very personal for people there.
Yeah. It's a battle of the bathrooms.
Battle of the bathrooms, yeah. Which, at one point, it's interesting when you think about the evolution of that debate.
Yeah.
At first, it was kind of conceptual.
Sure.
When the T part of LGBT started to make gains. You've got some TV shows that are trying to give them legitimacy that they shouldn't have.
Oh, yeah.
And then
award shows giving men the female award.
Yeah. You can go back to Woman of the Year being given to Bruce Jenner and, everything that. And at first we kind of laugh at it. We make fun of it.
Yeah. There were a lot of memes about even men being so much better than women that they make the best women.
We're even better women than them. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the meme.
Right. And then at some point, I'm talking about like the cultural conservative, and I'm not talking about partisan conservative. I'm talking about those who want to conserve the best parts of our culture. So I'm using a little more of an academic term. I'm using that word in a little more of an academic sense. We figured out too late, oh crap, this is actually the train's left the station.
Yeah.
And now children are being taught this nonsense in their schools, but it's not just that they're being taught by a teacher or handed a flag or whatever the case is. It's putting into your mind, you will accept this perversion as normal.
Yes. And to not do so is the wrong thing. It's the immoral thing, the impolite, the unloving thing.
Exactly. And then it started off conceptual like this. And a lot of parents were like, well, a junior, we don't agree, but we're going to be nice, treat them, just call them what they want, just be respectful. We don't need, and we took the path of least resistance and we avoided conflict.
Yes. We avoided conflict. That's probably the best way to describe what we were doing.
Right. And so then it became real to where boys wanted to start walking into girls' bathrooms and
playing in their sports,
and then wanted to play in their sports. And all of a sudden there was a pushback. Well, you bigot, how dare you? And people backed down.
Yeah.
And the ones who kept fighting were ostracized, were villainized, I mean, if the Riverfront Times still existed, can you imagine what they'd be saying about me right now?
Oh gosh, yes.
I mean, seriously.
Actually, I would love it.
I was disappointed because we were like just, starting to really ascend.
Yes.
And then they go out of business. I'm like, but now who's gonna call me names in the media and tell everybody we're here?
I was hoping for the hit piece exclusively on me as like some sort of race trader.
I had the frame picked out from Michaels and everything.
Seriously.
For that. I'm not kidding.
Put up on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it up on the wall. You better believe.
Absolutely badges of honor. So, they would have been lining the wall over here in the studio too. Yeah.
See, for me, it would have been at Woofie's. I would have had the framed
photo
at Woofie's hot dog place.
There you go. And so we're looking at, and so what happens is at some point a reality set in to say, this isn't funny anymore. This is not Klinger on MASH anymore.
Right.
This is infecting every aspect of our lives in this. So now you've got one of these guys elected to Congress.
Right.
I'm not making that up.
Now, this one of these types of people now has one of the levers of power in our government structure.
And it's not just about he has one of the 435 votes in the House of Representatives.
Right.
Because you know what? Crazy people can demand representation too. Whatever. We've had crazy people who are not pretending to be the other sex, whatever the case is. Okay. So the people of Delaware elected a man who goes by the name of Sarah McBride. He's now a state senator right now. So now this is kind of in our face again.
Yeah.
And Nancy Mace has responded by saying, you know what? Now we need a set of rules to say this guy needs to stay out of the women's spaces for the women.
It's very much a no mas situation. Like,
exactly.
We're not doing this anymore.
And we've already had the wars. Like, for instance, I think one of the problems with this is in Congress, the big anti-trans and I use the word because that's what connotative. It's not a real thing.
No, you can't actually
the
change your gender.
Right. The fight was started the wrong way a few years ago. Somebody put out the so-called trans flag in the Capitol outside their office. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Oh gosh,
it may have been Rashida Tlaib or one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those. It was a squad member.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene decided to take it upon herself
Mm-hmm.
to make an ass out of herself again and do everything the wrong way again, and basically become the social influencer who just and she basically never make her your spokesperson, even if you agree with her on the issues. She will do it the wrong way. Nancy Mace is doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
She says there's a man walking around in a dress. She has never said that he should have to wear a suit like all the other men.
Right.
But she said you don't get to drop trow in the women's locker rooms and bathrooms. And this is causing a big thing.
Yeah.
For instance, she was, I think this is either from the Ingram angle or from Elizabeth McDonald's show on Fox. Here's part of what she had to say, and she's very passionate about that. And the reason is very crucial here.
This is a person who's threatened to come into women's private spaces, and I'm a survivor of rape, sexual violence, and abuse. And I know how deeply vulnerable women are in places where we feel we have a right to privacy. And this is not okay. If you're a biological man, if you're born a man, you use the men's restroom.
Okay, so the fact that she's saying, I've got a very personal story, and I'm willing to stand on this.
Right.
When we do the news dump here in a little bit, I'm going to use a different soundbite where she says, this is the hill I'm going to, I'm willing to die on this hill.
Yeah.
And she's absolutely right about that. So as of right now, I mean, the Republicans have the momentum and they have the support of the majority of the country.
They have a mandate.
Saying, yeah, they really, well, I think they do.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the support of the majority of the country, including those who are not necessarily conservative, to say, put a stop to it.
Right.
Be done
Yes.
with it. We are telling you, do not be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have been told to be afraid of this movement when the reality is that we're the majority, we're right, we're the moral ones.
Right.
So Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, was asked about this as well. Here's part of what he said.
A man is a man and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said. But I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time.
Yeah, and I know that's a common line, and I frankly wish that our side would stop adding that last part there.
Yeah.
But we're going to, no.
Right.
All he had to do is say a man is a man, a woman is a woman cannot become a man cannot become a woman. End of story.
End of story. Yeah.
And I wish we would stop with but we're going to treat everybody with dignity and respect, including the people who refuse to treat us with dignity and respect and acknowledge that that we will not be compelled to be part of your delusion. And I'm getting meaner and meaner and meaner about this as the years go on.
Yeah. Well,
I've even, had some people in like churches like, well, you know what? We need to treat everybody with respect. No, we don't.
Yeah.
I truly, I don't think we should go out of our way to harass or bash people or anything like that. And,
Mhm.
if you're in line at the coffee shop behind me and you're in a dude in a dress, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to go out of my way to be mean to you. But if you do something to insist that I buy into your delusion, I'm going to back you off.
Right.
And I'm not going to be nice about it. And I'm not going to be respectful about it. And I'm not going to treat you like you have any dignity, because in my view, you don't. You've chosen to give that up. And here's what Nancy Mace is saying reality is reality. And she has experienced the worst of what can happen to women at the hands of abusive men.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'm going to stand in the gap, stand in the middle, and take every precaution that we can to keep somebody out. And people are, I saw, because my wife tweeted something and there was some weirdo lefty from St. Louis like, it's not it's the cis men who are doing this. It's not these women. Well, first of all, this isn't a woman.
No.
So we need to stop saying things like cis men or
Yeah.
trans women. Those aren't real things.
Those aren't real terms.
They're not real things.
No.
Stop buying into them. Hold your ground. We're right. And we have the momentum. Let's drive this back out of the mainstream. And I will say it, drive it back into the closet.
Absolutely. Now, here's one way maybe the Mike Johnsons of the world can do the whole we're going to treat people with respect dance, but do it correctly. You say we're going to treat people with the respect they deserve. Maybe that could be the way you mitigate that, because the thing is what the left will do is like, oh well, this means that they're going to go out and beat people up. This means they're going to go out and scream at trans women and tell them that they're not real. Like they all automatically move to words or violence kind of thing in their thinking, and of course they've taught many of our children to that sort of thinking.
Right.
So you have to at least acknowledge that the language being used means certain things to certain people, particularly the people that you're hoping to eventually draw to your side. So maybe you couch it. You say we're going to treat people with the respect they deserve, and that maybe that's all you need. That's all the cover you need.
Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing: is the United States House of Representatives under Mike Johnson's leadership is now going to have a choice. Will you confirm any of the delusions when the man who goes by the name Sarah McBride has something to speak on a bill on the House floor, which he's got the right to do because he is elected to Congress? Are you going to instruct whoever is at the dais to say the gentle lady from Delaware,
right,
or the gentleman from Delaware? And while that may seem just like foo-foo formality, that is the Congress of the United States confirming or denying
the delusion. Right. That's true. It's a denial of truth written into law, essentially. Right. Not law in terms of being enforceable, but certainly into the rules of decorum and the rules of the way we interact with one another. And you certainly don't want people to write in falsehoods into the way we interact with one another. Now, I would say maybe the most polite thing to do in that case is to name the person by name.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
or the representative
representative from.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, that could be the way to split that baby and not have to confront that every time that person shows up, because then the Democrats, they're going to make that dude the spokesman for everything. So, hey, I bequeath my time to the representative from someone. So, and then now all of a sudden, you get more into this verbal fight, and they love those word fights. They really do love to have those in the public sphere.
Well, and speaking of confrontations, Blues Nut says once they walk in there, just go ahead and mace them, and then call the police.
I
see what you did there.
Yes, I see what you did there.
All right.
Hey,
314-912-1019. I've got another sound clip from Nancy Mace on this as well. And at 8:35, I want to come back to this.
Okay.
Early on in the program, we had a conversation with the author of a new book regarding, it's just called Build Baby Build. And man, that got a lot of really interesting reactions.
It got a reaction
out of people. Really interesting. So I kind of want to bring that back. We'll do that around 8:35 here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
All at once depart, no destination, making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now. I have had enough of this.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm. Get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up, get up.
Hello, this is Jay with Titan Hill Armory in Washington, Missouri. We are a small family-owned business specializing in firearms and accessories. We buy, sell, and trade and have over 2,000 firearms in our store. We're open Wednesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Check us out at 1807 East 5th Street or online at TitanHillArmory.com.
Titan Hill Armory, your source for firearms, ammunition, accessories in Washington, Missouri.
Again, that's TitanHillArmory.com.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Congratulations to the awesome team at Connor Roofing for earning the 2024 National Best of the Best Award for Customer Satisfaction. Connor Roofing has now won back-to-back honors because they do outstanding work in all types of roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. We chose Connor Roofing without telling the owners, Rob and Kathy Connor. Their customer reviews are some of the best in the country. Please read them. Visit ConnorRoofing.com and request an estimate. Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Speaker Tim Jones, whoosh my speaker.
Why did the men and women who sacrificed and died for this country get one day each year, and those who have to tell us what their sexuality is get an entire month?
So instead of MAGA, they can be MAFA. Make America fabulous again.
Vic Porcelli, live and local weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Ready to explore the underwater world? Great American Divers, your veteran-owned local scuba center, is making waves with incredible offers. Get $50 off any new open water course when you mention News Talk STL. And mark your calendars. November 8th and 9th is our massive fall sale. Everything in store on sale, plus our huge swap and sale event for quality used gear. Daddy certification, equipment repairs, we got it all. Our experienced staff is passionate about teaching, and we're the only center in the area with our own indoor heated pool. Visit GreatAmericanDivers.com today. Great American Divers, where adventure runs deep.
This is so stupid.
St. Louis's.
Okay, I'm hanging up on you now.
Place to talk. News Talk STL. Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
Target on my back, lone survivor last. They got me in the sights. No surrender, no trigger, fingers go.
Well, I just learned something.
I think we all just
did.
We
all just did.
We just got a text from State Senator Nick Schroer. One of these weirdos has been elected to the Missouri legislature.
Yeah, did not see that.
Yeah, out of the Kansas City area.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is. Listen, have you seen the pictures of the Congressman Sarah McBride? Okay, from a distance, if you're not looking real close, you might go. You might not be able to tell.
Okay, yeah.
You look for more than a second. You're like, oh, okay,
wait a minute.
But
yeah,
this dude. There's no question.
This is a man.
This is not even close.
This is a man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh wait, he's got like there's it's almost like, Nick sent us these two pictures.
Yeah.
One of them, it looks like a before picture, and one of them looks like an after picture. And it's the meme from The Office. It's like, it's like corporate wants you to tell the difference between the two pictures. There's no difference. It's a man. That's a man in both pictures.
It is.
One just has long hair.
Okay, so
or hair that's not tied back.
The other one's tied back.
Yeah.
So now this has happened even in bright red Missouri. Now Jackson County is the Kansas City area. It's the other blue dot in the state. So now the state legislature in Missouri is going to have to come to the same decision making, and this is where things like the race for speaker matters more.
Mm-hmm.
John Patterson's not a conservative.
Oh boy,
he's supposed to be the heir apparent and just handed the speakership because it's his turn. Even though he's not a conservative in a very conservative state.
So what is he going to say when it comes time to pass the mic?
Because they're going to set the rules.
The rep for, Rep Wick Thomas.
Yeah,
Thomas.
Wick
Thomas.
Wick Thomas. I don't know what Wick stands for.
Yeah.
Or what, I've never heard of a name. So is he going to say, no, you are required to refer to him as the gentle lady from Jackson County, or from district, whatever. Okay, so this is where now the Missouri state government is either going to be on record as buying into the delusion, or standing firm with the people of Missouri saying, we will not buy, you will not force us to accept or recognize this falsehood.
Right. And every time this person gets up to speak and somebody either doesn't or does refer to them in certain ways, that's going to be another social fight that we have, another culture war fight that's going to be completely divorced from the idea of getting the big red things done that we sent this current, a group to Jeff Seaton to do.
Yeah. Now, other than District 19 being in Jackson County, I'm assuming the District 19 is in the city of Kansas City or nearby. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Which would explain
deep
how somebody
area.
like this would get through. Yeah, that's that. I mean, but other than that, I mean, the people of that district probably won't be, but they should be phenomenally ashamed of themselves. Even if this guy agrees with him on all the left-wing policies, I get that. At some point, those of you on the hard left need to have the decency to say, we are not going to put this sort of perversion on a pedestal and demand everybody treat this person respectfully.
Yep.
I will not treat that person respectfully.
Right. Nick says that the House is meeting today for their caucus, he says that they better address this in the new rules.
Which
he believes existing law prohibits the weirdo from using women's bathrooms, and he's going to be checking that in the morning.
Interesting.
Now, prior to that, there's a message that I think
let's leave that one out.
I'm not going to say that one. I'm going to let Nick say that one.
So Nick, just so you know, I'm texting you or I'm calling you a little bit. Let's get you on the show here later this week. We can update on this. I did not realize this was happening in Bright Red, Missouri.
Seriously, it's like
all right.
This stuff is everywhere, man.
Sierra, got a few other things. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you here. As I surprised
Morning
Sal
news
with
dump.
that.
Are you joking? Is this a joke? Listen, folks, the morning news dump.
All right.
I'm awake now.
Well, I threw you for a loop on that one because we got caught up in that. That's my fault. Okay, a precautionary boil order, as far as I know, still in effect for some neighborhoods in the city, and this is because of a water main break. So in the north part of the city, the Vanderloo, the Carr Square, the St. Louis Place neighborhoods are affected by this precautionary boil order. In the South City, Benton Park, Marine Villa, and Soulard are affected. So let me don't freak out here. Okay. No contamination, no danger has been detected. They have not found anything in the water, but there was a water main break. This is a precaution that they are asking everybody to do. So if you don't have any bottled water around, you're going to use the tap water. They're recommending that you boil it first before you brush your teeth with it or drink it or, cook with it or something like that. So one of the fastest way, run it through a kettle, because that's going to boil for a few minutes. Then you can cool it down. There may be an update later today on this. So it's just a precaution. That's all that it is. All right. If you got any questions, then, call City Hall. And if there's actually somebody there to answer the phone, they may have more information for you. Okay, so what are Democrats doing in Congress now that they're about to be the minority across the board in Washington, D.C.? Well, Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, says, well, yeah, we're into that whole unity thing, but you know what? We're standing strong on these issues.
We will protect the things that the American people have made clear matter to them.
I want to point that out. This is him saying what the American people have made clear.
Protect Social Security, protect Medicare, protect the Affordable Care Act, protect the progress that has been made in the context of the climate crisis.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody's really concerned about.
That's what you think the voters were saying?
Yeah, it was in the top three, right, Mike? I mean, there was the climate crisis, right? It was right up there.
Yeah, right there next to economy.
Yeah,
and immigration.
Yeah, right. It was wedged in there. We didn't notice it. It was hiding.
That's it.
The climate crisis concern was hiding in the stats.
Now, if there's anybody in DC who can still stomp his feet and try to make demands, I guess to some degree it could be Hakeem Jeffries, because the Republicans' majority is going to be razor thin narrow, at least especially to start the session, because they're losing people to appointments into the Trump administration. But it's kind of some hubris there to say the people spoke and we're going to keep doing what just got our asses kicked.
Yeah, please continue to double and triple down. I want you to do that.
Gosh, wow. All right, and among those is this issue we're just talking about. So Nancy Mace filing a bill basically affecting the rules of the U.S. House now that a man who tries to live as a woman, and his name is Sarah McBride, was elected to the House of Representatives. Congresswoman Mace was on the evening edit on Fox Business and had this to say as to why it's so important to her.
The time is now to have this fight. I am willing to die on this hill, and I'm asking for everyone across the country to call their member of Congress and put this thing to a stop. It's not going to stop here on the Hill. I'm going to file more legislation that'll reach across the entire country to protect women and girls everywhere.
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson was, asked about it, and here's part of what he said.
A man is a man and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe, that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said, but I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time.
Okay, so if you feel so passionately about what you said and you even want to reference Scripture, don't use the but conjunction.
Yeah.
That means, okay, now I'm going to go a different direction.
Yes.
Now he's arguing, those are mutually
or their intention or something.
Right.
Yeah. There's a suggestion there, but look, I would much rather him say something like, treat people basically treat people the way they deserve to be treated. How about that?
That I agree with.
Because that includes human dignity. You know, if you are a human, you are due human dignity. But if you are a crazy weirdo who thinks he's a different gender, you deserve a certain level of scrutiny that others don't.
But these guys are refusing part of their human dignity. Most of their human dignity.
That's a good point.
They're refusing it. They are demanding that you reject their human dignity when they demand that you accept their absolute fantasies.
So crazy.
So yeah.
Now, before we move on, Nancy Mace tweeted out to everyone threatening my life, your intimidation won't stop me from standing up for women. Maybe channel those big feelings and loud opinions into finding the right restroom.
There you go.
She is not moving on this.
Yeah,
not budging one bit.
There's a video you can easily find online of an ABC News reporter. Matter of fact, it's his video.
Yeah.
Thought that he was really going to embarrass her.
He's like, let me track her down. He ran to her.
Ran up at her. And he didn't try to interview. He tried to argue with her. And she calmly, I would say, looked him in the eye. She looked through his head. She bore through his head.
If looks could kill.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And just let him have it. And he kept interrupting because he didn't like the answer she was given. He was doing what mainstream media does.
Yeah, and she went further. She's like, not only am I doing this, and not only is this wrong and all that, but if you believe it's okay for men to be in women's spaces, you're crazy. And she looked directly at him when she said it.
So stop being nice, everybody.
Yeah.
Stop treating the other side like they have legitimate points that we need to consider. And that they have a legitimate place in the conversation. I'm not here to negotiate. I'm not here to hear you out anymore. I've been doing that for years. This ideology must be defeated. And I will say it again because it's the most offensive thing I can think of to this group.
I will say we will politely accept your surrender.
Yes. But because, and I'm choosing my words intentionally here, because this is the most offensive way I can put it to this particular group of people. And I'm doing it on purpose. This ideology needs to be driven back into the closet where it belongs. Now, it doesn't belong anywhere on the planet, but we know that there's going to be a small percentage of this. This is where this needs to be driven, and I'm not going to be respectful in doing it. Momentum is on our side. Let's correct a very bad wrong that we've allowed to, in a cancerous way, get through our society and clean it up. All right. 314-912-1019. The NIMBYs versus the YIMBYs. We had quite a discussion a couple hours ago. I want to bring that back. Let's talk about it.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL.
Here we go again. I will not give in. I've got a reason to fight.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
This is the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, they say that I'm gone, they say that they won. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, they're counting me out, but this is my round. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake, powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
A shot of cooler air drops us back to near normal today, from 72 yesterday to 55 for the high this afternoon. Meanwhile, turning windy out there. This west wind could gust up to 35 miles per hour at times today and tomorrow. Some clouds drifting through tonight as even colder air arrives, down to 34 degrees early Thursday morning with a high tomorrow of only 44. That'll be the coldest afternoon in St. Louis since March. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Cherry.
Tren de Aragua, TEA, the violent Venezuelan gang, has now taken root in at least 16 states, and ladies, a word of warning. I'm Tommy Laren. More next.
You can live out your MasterChef dream when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Violent Illegal Immigrant Gang, TDA, is now active in at least 16 states, and goody for us here in Tennessee, TDA is operational in all of our major cities. To make matters worse, the Biden-Harris administration is still allowing up to 1,500 migrants to enter the U.S. every day via the CBP One cell phone app, and up to 30,000 per month to fly into the U.S. via the mass parole programs. Help is on the way in January, and I have full faith in Trump and Tom Homan to get this tumor rooted out. But until then, ladies, listen up. It's open season on you. I don't advocate for living in fear, but I do advocate 100% for taking safety into your own hands. If you go on a run, carry pepper spray. When you're walking in the grocery store parking lot at night, carry pepper spray. If you're trained and licensed for firearms, get and carry a gun. It's so much better to be overly paranoid than dead. I'm Tommy Lahren.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of Des Peres. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss the 1879 Distillery, a one-of-a-kind experience right next door. The Village Bar offers the best value in town. Find the Village Bar on Facebook and come experience where history meets great times. You'll be glad you did.
Looking for a top-quality tactical gear and expert advice? Look no further than Discount Tactical, your one-stop shop for all things firearms and self-defense. Located in the heart of Warrenton, we've been serving the community for 3 years with our friendly, professional, and knowledgeable staff. From custom AR builds and silencers to the largest selection of parts, we've got you covered. Self-defense weapons, SBRs, knives, ammo, custom holsters, weapon lights, optics, and body armor. Discount Tactical. Online at discounttacticalarmory.com or stop by today and gear up with confidence.
On December 19th, gather with the people who keep us safe. The David Dorn Foundation invites you to Cheers and Charity Christmas at the Hour at Toy Drive. If you have a heart for our heroes, join us for just $20. Enjoy a festive evening of food and fun. Kids under 12 are free. Bring a toy or gift card for first responder families in need. Santa will be there for photos with the little ones and the big ones too. All the proceeds help our heroes. For details, visit dornfoundation.com.
What happens next?
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted.
Happens right here.
My entire administration worked with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Okay, on our News Talk STL podcast, but which, by the way, before I get to that, we were challenged yesterday to do the Trump dance.
That's right. We still have to do that.
So we're like, challenge accepted. Oh, there it is. So we're going to do it. We're going to give you our best Trump dances. It's going to be on video. I don't remember who challenged us on social media for that.
I bet it was Jay Monty.
Maybe, or Vicky, or Goat Lady, or I don't know who. I don't know who it was. But we're going to do it, and I am challenging you to join us.
Yes.
So by the end of the week, we're going to have a News Talk STL Trump video dance off.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everybody at the station is going to do it. You can be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just send me that 5 or 10 second clip, just on the phone, doing your best Trump dance.
Right.
Email me, Mike, M-I-K-E, at newstalkstl.com. You might make it into the video that's going to be out this week.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So, okay. So also don't forget our podcast. I haven't talked a lot about it, like our app and our podcast and all that sort of thing. We had a conversation with Bryan Caplan a couple hours ago. Now you've probably never heard of Bryan Caplan. He's a professor over at George Mason University. Of course, George Mason, one of the few bastions of free market thought out there still.
One of the only ones left.
One of the only ones left. Yeah, it really is. I mean, we're talking like, Thomas Sowell and people like that. So he's got a new book. I say new book. It came out in May. That's called Build, Baby, Build.
Right.
And he has got a very free market, basically small L libertarian approach to housing, because one of the things that we're hearing a lot is there's a shortage of housing in this country.
Yeah, that it's and a lot of the younger generation and even the older retirees are being priced out of the market.
Yes, that's that is, and we know, and the senior property tax freeze is a symptom of that.
Yes,
And what he's arguing, and this is a graphic novel, which apparently we're supposed to say graphic novel and not comic book. Anymore.
Well, it's only the difference in binding.
Oh, got it. Okay. So it's a graphic novel.
Yes.
That makes the case for free markets when it comes to housing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was interesting, the responses that we got to this. So
Yeah.
that podcast is going to be up a little bit later on today, hopefully later on this morning. And the debate came down to, but do we have a right to control which housing is built where?
Mm-hmm.
Because his argument was, people want to buy something here, build a house there, let them do it.
Right.
That's where the market is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have more housing, guess what happens to the price of housing?
It goes down.
It goes down. But the reality is that a lot of people don't want the price of housing to go down anywhere near them.
Because they own a house whose price is basically an indicator of their total wealth.
I'll go one step further.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Because that's when I was on a planning zoning commission, and then later on when I was on a board of aldermen, one of the most common arguments we had is, this will affect my property values. Now, 99 times out of 100, that's a complete BS argument. You just want to control somebody else. This will affect our property values.
Right.
No, it won't. But even if it is, that does not give you license to control somebody else's property and somebody else. But the other reason that I have seen, or that I take it, is that people are saying, wait a minute, if we have more housing and more people can afford to buy their own home and they buy it around me, I might have those troublemaking poor people around me. Leave them to the other area. Let them stay in their apartment comp. Don't build those here. I don't want them around me. But if I say it'll affect my property values, then somehow I can try to avoid the reality of, I just don't want them around me.
Yeah, I don't like the pores. Please keep the pores away. Now there are legitimate reasons for being a bit of a NIMBY. There are absolute legitimate reasons for saying, well, the character of neighborhoods, the aspects of the town. You don't want a mess of a city planning where you've got thousands and thousands of people trying to use a narrow dirt road to get from point A to point B because the city never fixed up the infrastructure. You don't want your commercial district in the middle of a residential area. You don't want your industrial smokestacks, right next to the apartment buildings. There is city planning to be done, just from a logistical standpoint.
I'm going to question your character of the neighborhood thing in just a minute, but
okay, well,
finish here.
Character of the neighborhood is it's the lowest in the totem pole of things.
Right.
But there are legitimate reasons why you want to have it regulated, but I think people tend to take it too far, and then it becomes just don't do it.
Yeah, because we've got this fight in like St. Charles County and Jefferson County,
sure,
and that was evident in the last sets of elections, for county council and in some cases city council, where you had the developers demonized,
right,
and then you had the other side, you had the whatever you want to call them. They call themselves the preservationists, but basically NIMBYs versus YIMBYs,
right?
Because those who are saying we're the preservationists, well, they were NIMBYs.
Yeah.
Now you can argue NIMBY is a good thing, but basically it's, we don't want that here. We don't want you here.
Right.
Is a lot of what that was, and maybe you can make a case for why you want that. But my argument is, well, hold on a second here. For instance, and I've heard this character of the neighborhood thing years and years and years. It's like, well, that's not what we want our neighborhood to look like. Well, then buy the rest of the land yourself and build your own houses to the character that you want and do it that way. But if you don't own the property, the threshold for being allowed to control what somebody else can do with their property should be so sky high that it is only in an extreme case where everybody agrees. Like, for instance, and this will be like why some hardcore libertarians will disagree with me, is like, for instance, you mentioned the smokestacks in the industrial area.
Right.
Okay. So if, that's what there's a demand for, there's manufacturing, there's logistics, or whatever that industrial area is. Okay. Well, let's do that there. And then we'll have houses somewhere else.
Right.
Fine.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
I don't have an issue with that. Matter of fact, there's only one type of construction and building that by law cannot be zoned out of someplace. There's only one thing that is immune from all zoning laws, and they cannot be denied because they don't fit the zoning.
Yep. Churches.
That's
right.
You cannot deny a church a building permit or occupancy because it's not in the right zoning. It's illegal to do that.
You could put a church next to a factory.
Yep.
You could put a church on the commercial strip.
Yep.
You could put a church in a residential neighborhood.
Yep.
You could put a church in the basement of an apartment building.
You
if
can put it anywhere you want.
Yep.
And that's, because I know of a number of churches, like for instance, my dad's church, and my dad's been gone for a number of years, but they wanted to buy a church building, or I think they had bought a church building, or that they bought a property that had already been, the construction had been approved and everything. They bought the land and they bought and the local neighbors were throwing a fit. They did not want a church there. Well, there's nothing they could do about it.
Yeah.
Some things changed and they ended up selling that, and they're going to build something else now because they were buying it because there was a main street that was supposed to be constructed nearby.
Oh, okay.
And it would have been a very good church location.
Nice little thoroughfare there.
But the bad blood was so bad that they were like, we're going to have bad relationships in our community if we just build what we're allowed to build. So they chose not to do it.
I've never heard of a neighborhood being so up in arms about a church.
Wow. They did not want the traffic. It was
the traffic specifically?
That was one of them. It was a NIMBY thing. But this was an otherwise very conservative area, and I just find it fascinating. And I know people disagree. It's like, I'm small government. Government, get out of my life. Other than I want to control what's allowed to be built over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't build that here.
I remember when I was on a board of aldermen, and one of the areas where a development was going in, which by the way had been vacant grassland for centuries, literally. And the developer came in and bought it. It went through the whole process, plant nice homes, spacious lots, the whole 9 yards. And this area happened to go right up to the city line. So this was the southeast corner of this particular city. And well, okay, then we gave them we got sued by somebody in the neighboring city because we were allowing somebody to build the homes when they enjoyed the view that they had, and we did not consult them, and they didn't even live in our city.
About the view?
Because we were allowing the view to be, with home construction.
Right.
And so the city manager comes to us, he goes, well, now we have to negotiate a settlement. I'm like, no, we don't.
No, we don't.
Tough.
Yeah, they have no stake.
Why would they get to tell us, what we're going to allow and not allow? And why would they have a say in somebody else who spent millions of dollars to buy property and is meeting a demand? Why are we even going to listen? Well, we need to listen. No, we don't.
Yeah.
My argument was, we don't need to listen to them. Hang up the phone.
Give them a periscope.
They don't. Yeah.
It's a big giant periscope. So
send some tree seedlings. They can put it in their backyard.
There you go.
I'm like, why are we indulging this?
Yeah, you should. Now, the one thing that I was referring to in terms of character of the neighborhood thing was the idea that, okay, if you have a bed and breakfast little mini downtown with some houses around it, maybe not put the factory there. Maybe not zone it for that. That's really the only thing I mean when I think of character of the neighborhood kind of stuff. A giant apartment building wouldn't make sense. Let's say in an area full of suburban single family homes with about a quarter acre, half an acre kind of land. It doesn't make sense to put the apartment buildings there. So,
but what if there's a market for it?
Well, the thing is, in a city, there's going to be a market for housing. Period.
Right.
But the market isn't saying I want the housing exactly right there. I mean, because there's plenty of land that is completely undeveloped to the east or something like that. It's like, if you put up an apartment there, now maybe it's going to border the suburban single family houses.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where the fights usually end up, is in the borders between these districts. But putting stuff in the middle of other stuff doesn't seem right. Having districts or, zones.
So who should get to
makes sense.
choose though? Who should get to decide that?
That would be the cities, the elected officials in the city.
You think they should decide that? See, I think if
where the
there's
zones are, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's like, if somebody's willing to make the investment and take the risk, and it's a residential area, I'm like, okay, if you single family folks don't want it, buy it and put a park in.
Ugh. That's way too libertarian.
I know. There it is.
Alan Man on Rumble brings up a good point. You know, the Monsanto plant.
Yeah.
In Creve Coeur.
Yeah.
That's going through a whole change to bring in a residential area.
It's a big redevelopment.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how folks in that area feel about that being done.
Some of them are not happy. It's gotten ugly with some of that big planning for there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's been a fight out there.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
For over half a century, Joe Bacardi's has been serving up a little taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family owned since 1971, we're more than just a restaurant. We're a local landmark. With 4 convenient locations, we offer something for everyone, from our famous pizzas to mouth-watering entrees and delicious salads. Dine in with a glass of wine or grab a quick carryout. Whether it's dinner for 2 or catering for a crowd, Joe Bacardi's has you covered. Visit joebacardis.com and join our loyalty program. Joe Bacardi's, where every meal ends with buon appetito.
Let Seavers JCB create a custom purchasing plan for your year-end equipment needs and maximize your tax savings. Whether you need 0% financing for up to 60 months, generous cash incentives up to $9,000, or extended warranties for up to 5 years, Seavers JCB can tailor a plan to fit your fleet needs and budget. Programs are available on a wide range of products, including track loaders, excavators, wheel loaders, and more. Call, stop by, or check them out online at seaversjcb.com.
Katie here. When it comes to your home's comfort, you don't need gimmicks, you need guarantees. At Elite Comfort Experts, we're your hometown comfort heroes. No flashy deals, just reliable service you can count on every time. From tune-ups to total system replacements, we're here to keep your family comfortable year-round. No nonsense, just expert care because your home deserves the best. Call Elite Comfort Experts today, where hometown service meets real results. Elite Comfort Experts, St. Charles' trusted hometown comfort heroes. Call Elite at 636-887-0971.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton. The Vic Porcelli Show.
One of our favorite guests, and after we learn one of your favorite guests, Pastor David Lowry will talk about the black vote being crucial to the President Trump victory. We'll talk to him Wednesday at 9:41.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Just the convenience on the phone. Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the News Talk STL app.
And listen anytime.
Everywhere.
Anywhere.
Hi, it's Dan Bongino here, and I'm proud to be on News Talk STL every weekday from 11 to 2. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I was so high, I did not recognize fire burning in her eyes.
This is not an 80s song. I can't think of a way to segue here.
Right.
But if you want to hear 80s bump music on Friday.
No, that's a solid segue. I'll give you that one. I'll let that one go.
Send in your 80s Flashback Friday request. They got to be in by 2:00 tomorrow on that. Also, I put this up. I reminded everybody on the Rumble chat box. First of all, by the way, when you're there, please hit that thumbs up-y thing there as well.
Yeah.
A lot of great conversation.
Yeah.
I know on Facebook we're as well. Hit the thumbs up and all that kind of stuff.
We got our first thumbs down.
I know. I saw that.
I'm excited by that.
I know.
Because the thing is, it's all engagement, so it all counts. But
we're controversial now.
I like that there are people out there who don't like us because it means we're having an impact.
That's right. Or at least causing some thoughtful discussion. And listen, you're not going to like everything we say. That's the point of having a talk show.
We love to ruffle feathers.
That's right. That's I should get on my business card. Professional feather ruffler.
That's right.
Michelle, next time we get the cards. Professional feather ruffler. I like that. Okay. We were challenged also to do a Trump dance off. So we're doing that today, guys. Gabe, before you run off.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing the Trump dance. I want to see your best Trump dance. We were challenged by one of you all, so I'm challenging you all as well. My email, I'm giving you my email, mike@newstalkstl.com. That is the one that goes to my phone. That is the one that send me your short best Trump dance clip. Because we're gonna have a News Talk STL Trump dance off video this week.
Mm-hmm.
So 5-10 seconds, that's all we need.
Yep.
Do it. Have your coworkers do it. Have your neighbors do it. Have your kids do it. Have your cat do it. Anything.
Yeah.
But you got to get them in. You got to get them in. Because I mean, think about it. You stand by the cat. You could have the cat do the Trump
the
dance.
cat can do the Trump
This
dance.
is that simple of a dance.
It's a very simple dance.
So go ahead and do that.
Maybe do a Trump dance flash mob someplace. That would be awesome.
At the Galleria.
Oh man.
10
at least
seconds.
there'll be something.
Play the music.
Peaceful at the Galleria.
Do the thing.
Oh man.
Yeah, seriously.
I live near the Galleria. And it's like when my daughter first moved here after college, and she's like, I'm going to go to the mall. I'm going to go apply for a job because she worked in the Buckle clothing store in another city. And she's like, yeah, they can transfer for me here. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're persuasive enough, you could get the mob of teenagers to stop fighting
enough
to do the Trump dance.
I guess like and again, I haven't watched the NFL in a long time, but apparently the NFL is like, what do we do about everybody doing this Trump dance? I'm like, you don't do anything.
Don't do anything.
You let them do the fad.
It's like seriously, why are they regulating celebrations in sports, in professional sports these days? What is going on?
Remember when they tried to do that back in the Icky Shuffle?
Yeah. Oh, the Icky Shuffle.
The Icky Shuffle when the Bengals were
the Bengals running back.
Good for about a minute and a half.
Yeah. And the bob and weave where they kicked that out.
Yeah.
Come on.
And Icky Shuffle, like they wouldn't let him do it after he scores a touchdown. So he did it on the sidelines, like after, and he still got fined.
Come on, man.
I'm like, you know what?
Is it really disruptive? Is it?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things people now they should definitely keep it out of baseball because that's not how God directly created baseball. But football, fine. You know,
don't flip your bat.
No. Hey, well, or flip the bat. And just understand you're taking one in the ribs next time up.
There you go.
Them's the rules.
Them's the rules.
The unwritten rules, but them's the rules, man. And I support the unwritten rules.
Yep.
They're the code. We call it the code.
The code.
And they're trying to get rid of it because they actually want more of that in sports because they think that's what people are going to tune in for. I don't want that.
No, I don't.
I'm just saying.
We do want Trump dances, though.
We want your Trump dances.
Yeah.
Email, but you got to do it today, though. Got to send them in.
Speaking of today, Kathy reminded me today is our 1-year anniversary broadcasting here in Maryland Heights.
I did not know that.
It was our first day, November 20th of last year.
We got out of the city a year ago.
Yay!
Leading by example. Come with us.
That's reason to celebrate.
That's reason to do a Trump dance.
Need reliable auto service from people you can trust? Look no further than Western Tire and Auto. For over 15 years, we've been your complete automotive repair center, family owned and operated, with owner Dean Cleathermees bringing 30 years of industry experience. At Western Tire and Auto, you're not just a customer, you're family. We promise 100% satisfaction, treating you with the transparency, respect, and honesty you deserve. Visit us in St. Peters or in Florissant. For appointments, call or check westerntireauto.com. Western Tire and Auto, your local automotive experts since 2008.
In the fast-paced world of digital marketing, making connections is a challenge for any business. But what if we told you there is a place where connections aren't just made, they're grown? Meet 2060 Digital, your premier Google partner and top-tier digital agency. We don't just follow trends, we set them. At 2060 Digital, we're not just another agency, we're your strategic partner. We dive deep into your challenges and develop solutions that drive measurable outcomes. Ready to elevate your digital presence with campaigns that connect? Google 2060 Digital today.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. With his